Podmortem would like to thank Original Cinematic for sponsoring this week's episode. Original Cinematic is an independent production company that has made it their mission to create, produce, and promote films that are inclusive, honor women, promote the LGBTQIA+ community, and provide prominent positions and roles to POC actors and filmmakers, and promote the films of marginalized and underrepresented populations. These are all things that are extremely important to our podcast as well.
Original Cinematic is currently accepting scripts and treatments. Both William and Xxena Rush are also available via email or Zoom to discuss writing and provide input and resources to all aspiring writers free of charge. Their information will be made available in the show notes. There may be delays due to a hectic schedule and all projects being read on a first-come, first-served basis, but everything will be read and responded to. William Rush has individually produced numerous projects, including Pack is Here, Before, The Cottage, The Winemaker, and Day by Day. Their award-winning film Group premiered and was celebrated at multiple film festivals as well as screenings both in person and via Zoom that was graciously made available to us and our patrons.
Original Cinematic has many exciting projects on the horizon. Their next film, Immersion, has been completed. The award-winning Sweetener is in development. Fetish begins shooting in September, and Encore will begin next spring. Their documentary, Women in Conversation, is slated for a September release, and we are looking forward to each and every one of them. It is truly an honor to partner with Original Cinematic, and we can't thank them enough for their contribution to our show. And now, back to our regularly scheduled program. Salutations! Welcome to Podmortem. I'm Travis Hunter-Sayapin, joined as always by my co-hosts, my sister and my brother-in-law.
Hi, I'm Reneé Hunter-Vasquez.
Hi, I'm John Paul Vasquez.
This week, we're broadcasting live from the Highwayman Motel, discussing the 2012 horror film, No One Lives. This film was directed by Ryûhei Kitamura from a screenplay by David Cohen. Drawn to the project by its fascinating first-act rug pull, Kitamura sought to craft a new horror classic centered around a compelling anti-hero. With impressive practical effects, creative kills, elaborate action, and unconventionally over-the-top moments, No One Lives would survive its mixed critical reception and modest box office performance to find a home in the hearts of many fans of the genre. This film was suggested to us by friends of the show, Molly Gerhardt, Felnez63, Molly Gerhardt, Stephen Junius, and Molly Gerhardt. We'd like to thank each and every one of them for their continued support of the show, as well as this suggestion. So, No One Lives. What were your first impressions on the film?
I had never seen this before. I don't even think that I had heard about this. And it being a WWE film is... It's the same thing like Oculus. It was a little weird, you know. I was like, oh, but it's the movie is a lot of fun. There's some stuff that happens in the movie that I laughed at. There's a few times it brought me joy. I think that I don't get enough time with our cast for me to kind of like feel some things for them. So, I mean, other than that, I mean, we're just kind of going through having a good time watching what's going on the screen. Because a lot of it, I don't really know. I'll be honest. After a while, I was just like, who's who? And I'm just kind of like, oh, what's your name again? And who are you? And I was like, oh, I don't know what the fuck's happening. But there was fun. The gore's good.
I will agree with that.
Was that?
That was it.
I had never seen this before either. I had never even heard of it before we met Molly. Mm-hmm. And she is a huge fan. Yeah. She's a huge fan of this film. And so I was pretty blind. I didn't know anything. It is fun. I will agree with that. I think that my issue with it is that we are kind of teasing some kind of story, history, intent, motive, backstory that I don't know what the hell. I still don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah, all of those things.
Yeah. And I love ambiguity. I love kind of being left to fill in the blanks myself. But I think that we're kind of teasing something that's really interesting and deep in a way that kind of begs for, well, what the hell does that mean? How did this start? What the hell does this mean? And we don't get that. I think that with the title, like No One Lives, you kind of know that we're going to have something of a body count without getting into spoilers. And so in a film that's less than an hour and a half, it is difficult to make those deaths and kills mean anything. And so I think that they've just kind of gone the other route and done them in interesting ways. And if you just kind of surrender to that's just what this is, I think that we talked about it off mic as well. There's a really cool twist that may be a little too early revealed.
Yeah.
And so after that, I think when something is revealed, maybe something is inside of something and then it's not anymore. After that happens.
And then it's not anymore.
I can't get into details. After that happens, you kind of understand what this movie is.
Yeah.
And you're kind of either along for the ride or you're not. And there were moments that I was literally laughing out loud.
Yeah.
And I did have a good time. Some things were really, really funny. Some things were absolutely ridiculous and an eye-rolling way. But this was an entertaining film to watch, especially when we're teasing these elements of this weird dynamic between some of the characters. I was disappointed ultimately that I didn't get more of that. But I think that the practical effects were really cool. The kills were very interesting. But there is a more than a film's fair share of ridiculousness is saying No One Lives.
I think that's really fair. I had not heard of this film at all until Molly brought it to our doorstep.
Yeah.
Literally mailed us a copy.
Yes. Thank you.
And thank you for that, Molly. There are some things about it that I do find worth remarking about.
Yeah.
One of those things is specifically the reliance on practical effects.
Yeah.
Because some of the stuff looks really, really good, and you just are grateful that they didn't go the digital route really at all. And it does take more to do something like that because you have to worry about setups. You have to worry about coming back to it and continuity rather than... I mean, we talked about The Devil's Rejects where they worked a little quicker because they used digital blood.
Right.
But it took away from so many moments.
Yeah.
Everything is there, everything is real, and it does feel better for it.
Oh, yeah.
I also think that Luke Evans as the driver, it's clear he is having fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am puzzled sometimes by his choices.
Yeah. All right.
But I feel like you can feel his enjoyment of playing the character.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I do think that there are moments, and again, I know that I'm going to get a little nitpicky later when it comes to dialogue.
Right.
But it's because there are so many moments in this film where a line is spoken, and it's not that it's wrong. It's not that it's bad.
It's just like,
there's just something really weird. Something just hits your ear wrong and you're like, that's the choice?
Yeah.
That's what you decided to say? All right, sure. But there is something very, I don't know, it feels aggressively of its era as well, and at the same time, where even the feel of the film, the tone, and the movement of the camera is like, oh, this is the 2010s.
Yeah.
Or honestly, really more 2000s.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't know. I came away from this kind of with mixed feelings because I did laugh a fair amount of times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know sometimes if they want me to.
Yeah, and I like I said, I got enjoyment, but am I supposed to be getting enjoyment out of those scenes?
Yes. And because I think my thing, I almost want them to lean more into the campiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are so many ridiculous things that happen that you can't help but laugh, but then they play it stone serious. And it's so strange to me because it's like, you could really, if you want, what you've just done.
Yes. Oh, God.
Like, this should be the funniest thing in the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But the way that you play it, it's like, oh, I guess I should be scared.
Yeah.
And again,
I don't know.
I don't know.
with the addition of that strange dynamic,
Yes.
it does like it's off balance because some of it is so fucking over the top hilarious.
Maybe it's that, like, I want a little more of it because it is funny unintentionally.
Yes.
And it's like, man, I know this isn't supposed to, so if I knew a little more about you, maybe I wouldn't feel that way. But right now I am laughing at what's happening to you.
Absolutely. And I will say another positive for it, I did not see that first act twist coming.
Not at all.
No.
And so I honestly, my eyes were kind of glazing over because I'm like, okay, this feels almost like by the numbers kind of a situation until it's not. And you're like, hey,
Yeah.
thank you.
Right.
You know, but then from there, it's like, oh, well, that was a good thing you did 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think that's my issue is that surprise is so good that I don't really think anything they do really lives up to it.
Right.
And I unfortunately just don't care about these people enough to follow them through the rest of it.
Yeah.
But the issue is that the film is only, and this surprised the hell out of me, it's only 78 minutes
Yeah.
before the credits.
Yeah.
And so the things that we are wanting, I guess a little more character, a little more background on, especially the dynamic between two characters,
Yeah.
it's kind of impossible to get all of that.
Yeah.
And so this really does just turn into one of those, hey, turn your brain off and have a good time. Because you're going to.
Yeah.
But as is customary, before we dive into the film of No One Lives, I do want to talk a little bit about how this film came to be.
Okay.
So I have a small list of sources for a very short production section, and they include a featurette called From the Script to the Crypt, as well as interviews with the director in Daily Dead, Bloody Disgusting, Dread Central, That Shelf, The Diva Review, Shock Till You Drop, and Horror DNA.
Very nice.
So the very short story of how No One Lives came to be begins in 2010, when screenwriter David Cohen gets an idea for a film. What if I could make a bad guy into a hero? I don't know that necessarily fits.
No.
But it was his jumping off point.
Okay.
After the screenplay is written, it ends up in the hands of producers Harry Knapp and his business partner, former professional basketball player Elton Brand.
Okay.
Both of these producers loved the hell out of the screenplay and immediately began their search for a director to helm the project. The first director on their radar was Ryûhei Kitamura, who, after a successful career in Japan, had relocated to the United States a few years prior and had somewhat recently directed his American film debut, The Midnight Meat Train.
Okay.
Wild title.
Yeah. I was going to say, is that kind of movie?
Decorum.
Yeah. Kind of movie is that?
It's actually, and I remember watching it a long time ago, but it's a Clive Barker.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And I think starring Bradley Cooper
Okay.
from Nip Tuck fame.
Yeah.
Yes, and only from Nip. I think we have a lot of requests for Midnight Meat Train because that's the only meat train, right?
I would hope so.
Then yeah, we have a lot of requests for it.
But having just come off of directing his first horror film, Kitamura was hesitant to take on the project as he feared that he might become typecast by American producers. In Japan, he had made a ton of action films as well as helming a feature in the Godzilla franchise.
Oh, shit. Okay.
But on the producer's insistence, Kitamura finally reads the screenplay. Initially, he admitted that the first 10 pages weren't interesting or impressive to him at all. He thought that it was just a run-of-the-mill slasher, and though it might be something that he would like to see, it wasn't anything that he thought that he would want to make. But he continued reading, and it was about 15 pages in that he discovered suddenly that it became a different movie altogether. Not only that, but it was incredibly different from the Midnight Meat Train, which was rather relieving to him as he really didn't want to repeat himself.
Okay.
Kitamura said what surprised him the most, aside from the first act twist, was how well written it was. Noting that whenever he's normally offered a script, he never finds the characters, emotions, or dialogue to be as good as what he found in Cohen's script. And he noted its irresistible wit and real ingenuity as the deciding factors that led him to immediately call his manager and tell him that he wanted to make this movie no matter what.
I love that it spoke to him.
Yeah.
I love that for him.
It says more to me, I think, about the other scripts he's been receiving.
Yeah.
Despite these compliments, though, once he signed on, Kitamura got with Cohen to rework a lot of the character dynamics in the screenplay, fleshing them out a little bit more, combining two characters into a composite character, and even deleting another character from the film entirely.
Huh.
Great script, by the way.
Yeah.
Wouldn't change a thing except for these several large
Yeah.
things.
And I am curious because I don't know how,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
what it was and what it came to be.
Right.
Whenever I hear that, that's my first thought is I would love to hear what that original story was.
Yeah, because that's...
That's a lot.
yeah.
But Kitamura's goals for the project changed depending on the outlet that interviewed him, at least from my experience and what I read. But in one interview, he said that his goal was just to make a fun movie of escapism, something to not only make the audience scream, but to make them laugh too.
Okay.
That, to me, I see.
Yeah.
In another interview, he explained that he was setting out to make the next horror classic, something that he said could be remade in 15 to 20 years, which I thought was really specific.
All right.
But no matter what his goals were, he mentioned his desire to pay homage to horror films of the 1970s and 1980s, like The Last House on the Left, The Hitcher, and the classic slashers that he grew up on, which he said inspired him to become a director in the first place.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But at some point in 2011, it's announced that the film will be co-financed by Pathé, I believe is pronounced UK, and WWE Studios, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Conflicting stories of the budget for the film were given as well. Some sources say $5 million, but Kitamura claims that the budget was far less than what he was given for the Midnight Meat Train, which had a total budget of $3.5 million. Other sources say that the budget for No One Lives was as low as $1 million.
Damn.
And to Kitamura's dismay, he said that for some reason, the producers decided to shoot the film in the middle of the summer in 2012 in Louisiana, during the months that contained the shortest nights of the year, despite the fact that 90% of the film takes place at night.
Yeah.
So what the hell? Kitamura would later call it a race against time and money, as they were only given 25 days for principal photography. He declined the opportunity to elaborate, but he would also complain further that the production was a pure nightmare, marred by all kinds of bullshit and trouble,
Oh.
summing it up as the worst experience of his career.
Wow.
Having said that, though, he did highlight how much he loved working with the cast and crew, so it wasn't entirely a living hell. But the film would eventually premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival, where it would receive mixed reviews, but it would also get picked up by Anchor Bay Entertainment, who would give the film a limited release. They said that it performed much better than other WWE studio releases, I guess like The Chaperone or whatever.
Yeah. Not the chaperone.
But good for them.
Yeah.
And despite plans and hopes for a sequel that still hasn't arrived, most interestingly, almost 15 years after its release, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Now, before we seek revenge on this film, we would like to issue a warning for spoilers. Pod Mortem is a very in-depth podcast, and in thoroughly discussing horror films, we have no choice but to spoil a thing or two. If you don't wish to be spoiled, please go watch the film, then come back and enjoy the show. If you've already seen the film or don't care about spoilers, let's kill them all. So the film begins within the sprawling greenery of a forest, the piercing cries of a woman echoing through the trees. We then descend upon her as she rushes barefoot through the underbrush, leaves rustling and twigs snapping beneath the weight of her terrified trek. Clad only in her underwear and a dingy tank top is a trembling Emma Ward, played by Adelaide Clemens, the sun shining at her shoulders and silhouetting her desperate escape.
Adelaide Clemens, she was in Silent Hill Revelation in 2012 and The Great Gatsby in 2013.
Oh.
All right. You know, you take a little...
Yeah. Good with the bad.
Exactly. We do need to get back because I want to cover that.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It'll be fun. But Emma leaps over a downed log, the flesh of her feet landing sharply in a bed of broken glass scattered across the waiting dirt. She staggers into a seat on the tree's trunk, throwing her hand over her mouth to muffle her pained screams as she rips the shard of glass from the sole of her foot. After tearing a strip of fabric from her shirt to wrap around her fresh wound, she continues onward unabated. Once we learn a little bit more about what she's running from, it is almost like Jigsaw level of prediction to put a lot of glass there.
Yeah. That's kind of, it looked like an obstacle course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pounding percussion accompanies Emma as we find her in frenetic shots through the surrounding branches. But upon reaching a clearing, Emma discovers civilization and perhaps her own salvation in the passing cars on a country road. She cries out for help as they speed by her, but one wrong step forward leads Emma right into a trap. A length of rope cinches around her ankles, dropping her to the forest floor where she's dragged and lifted upward, twisting and screaming as she's held upside down from a sturdy tree limb. She reaches out, seizing a sapling and pulling herself closer to the trunk of the tree in front of her, and with the bloody shard of glass that she tore from her foot, Emma feverishly carves a message into its brittle bark with great effort. Her hands slick with her own blood, the glass slips free from Emma's grasp, and with her arms outstretched, a wild wail escapes her as she dangles upside down, captured. But the camera swirls right side up, centering upon the roughly written message on the tree, which reads, "Emma, alive." We dip to black, the film's title possibly offering a callous correction in red and rugged text. No one lives.
So I wasn't mad at this opening.
No.
I was like, what have we gotten ourselves into?
Yeah.
On that featurette, I just wanted to say Adelaide Clemens talked about being hired at the very last minute, that she had gotten the call on Saturday and was on set on Monday.
Good Lord.
And that this was the first thing that they filmed was hanging her upside down.
Holy shit.
And they talked about, she said that she thought the worst part would be your head because all the blood is rushing to your head, but the kind of cuffs that they have to have around your ankles to suspend you, she said your feet, it's the worst. It's worse than the pain in your head.
Oh, yeah.
Because the shackles have to be so tight that you're not going to slip. So it completely cuts off the circulation to your feet.
Oof.
And one of the stunt guys was like, "Oh no, it's terrible for anybody. Like, it's really bad." But I was like, "Damn." So I mean, she jumped right in.
Yeah.
But we return to the open road, where a silver BMW banks around a curve, a black cargo trailer hitched at its rear as it coasts across the barren blacktop. Sitting in the driver's seat of the car is the driver, played by Luke Evans, his certain eyes centered on the road ahead of him through his windshield.
Luke Evans, we did talk about him in Ma.
That was
right.
it! Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot that.
I did too.
Yeah, we sure did.
I tried to forget a lot of things from that. Right next to the driver sits the despondent Betty, played by Laura Ramsey, who rests listlessly against her arm, peering through her opened window at the passing trees.
Laura Ramsey, we talked about her in The Ruins.
We did.
That's right. Another one I tried to forget. Betty sighs wistfully that it's not going to be the same, but the driver implores her to trust him, assuring Betty that it will be the same. Betty mulls it over for a moment, but all she can think about is how she's going to miss everyone. The driver then reminds her that they saw everyone before they left and notes that sometimes it's necessary to relocate. Betty cuts her eyes in his direction, suggesting for him not to make it seem like it isn't his fault. He simply replies that out of every bad situation comes something good, and he asks Betty if she agrees with him. But when Betty comments on the driver's very demented way of looking at things, the driver simply retorts that if he didn't see things this way, he doubts that she would be so in love with him. Betty just smiles, chuckling that the driver shouldn't flatter himself. So, quick question. We arrive in this car, and my first thought is father and daughter.
Yeah.
No, I thought the exact same thing.
Okay.
I thought the exact same thing.
I thought I might be crazy. When I heard this line, I was like, okay, what the hell?
Well, even the conversation between them sounds like I'm moving me and my daughter somewhere else.
Exactly.
And she's not happy about it.
Yeah.
And again, that's kind of standard horror fare. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, to hear that line, I was like, oh, I guess they're a couple. And then we looked on IMDb.
Yeah, I broke my foot running to IMDb because I was like, what is the age difference?
Yeah.
It's 3 years.
Wow.
I think she might just look really young. I don't know.
Maybe.
I thought the exact same thing. And I was like, 3 years?
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, no.
What's her secret?
Yeah.
But the driver realizes that he's a bit weary from the road and suggests to Betty that they should stop somewhere for the night. They pull into the parking lot of a motor lodge, the camera rising from the asphalt to climb the height of the neon sign which broadcasts Highwaymen Motel. Betty stays behind in the car while the driver enters the office, ringing the service bell that rests on the front desk. Harris, the motel manager played by Gary Grubbs, greets him, hopeful that the driver isn't just here for directions, as he's got 15 rooms with the driver's name on them.
Gary Grubbs, he was in JFK in 91, Gone Fishing in 97, and Runaway Jury in 03.
He looked so familiar to me.
Yeah.
He's got one of those faces that you know he was in a bunch of shit in the 90s.
Yeah.
Character actor?
Yes.
Yes.
The driver shares that the good news is he knows exactly where he's going, but the bad news is that he only needs one room.
It was funny because when he said that, my note was, well, I only need one of them. And then he said it. So I'm like, all right. Okay.
You were like, this screenplay's great.
Yeah. This is incredible.
Harris is grateful to take whatever he can get, and he asks for the driver's credit card to get the ball rolling. As the driver reaches for his wallet to retrieve the card, Harris leans over the counter to take a peek at Betty through the office window. He breathes. Wow. Commenting that Betty is really pretty. And young.
Ew.
I know.
As he hands over his card, the driver smirks that that's just the way he likes him. Harris agrees, but glancing down at the credit card, he can't help but comment. Well, that's an unusual name. The driver concurs, placing the card back into his wallet and attributing the name to his father, who he says had an unforgiving commitment to historical reference.
I think his name's McLovin.
Is that?
Yeah.
Just McLovin.
That went down in history. Yeah. So his name remains an unsolved mystery through this film?
Yes.
Right.
One thing that did kind of strike me as odd, Harris literally didn't do anything with his credit card. He just has it. I thought you were supposed to like do something.
Yeah.
You mean like
He
pay?
hands it right back.
Yeah.
He was like, this is just the credit card check just to make sure you have
Make sure you have it.
But that made me wonder, like, is this a fake name? Is this like a McLovin situation
Yeah.
where you just put George Washington on your card, or is your name like Abraham Lincoln or something?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh. You know, I went to school with an Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, we did.
Yep. Like I was also there. The year was 1820.
We all knew he was going to be something one day.
But with that, Harris snags a key from the hooks on the wall behind him, setting the driver and Betty up with their cabin and asking how number 8 sounds to him. The driver takes the key into his hands, peering down at the sideways number on the tag and noting, infinity. I like it. I feel like that's something that could or should mean something.
Yeah,
I know it's just casual conversation.
it is, but it's a weird. I feel like it's an odd thing to say.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't know, and maybe this is what I mean, in a better screenplay, you might have that be something that becomes important to him as like legacy or
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Or even like the relationship between
Mhm.
two people,
Yeah.
maybe. And also Casual Conversations, great song by Supertramp.
Fantastic. But sometime later in cabin number 8, Betty wraps herself in a white towel, fresh from the shower, as she joins the driver in the room proper. He reclines casually atop the blankets of the motel bed, directing Betty's attention to the television screen across the room, where an uncredited newscaster shares updates on a missing persons case. The driver gestures to the screen, telling Betty, "There it is again." And on screen, we get B-roll of law enforcement searching, taping off, and maintaining the perimeter of a very familiar forest. The newscaster explains that the police and the FBI are currently scouring the area north of Spokane for any evidence that could lead them to the missing heiress, Emma Ward. And it wasn't just me. We were born in Spokane. The shot then centers on the upside-down etching that Emma left in the bark of the tree. We then cut to the sheriff, played by Carl Palmer, who's surrounded by reporters, each of them reaching their respective microphone in front of him, as he explains that from what he can tell, the carving is about 6 months old. Though, he admits it's impossible to get an accurate date. The tree growth on that particular alder indicates about half a year, probably done in the spring, just after her abduction.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Wrap it up.
Jesus Christ.
Is that really what you wanted to do? You didn't want to be a sheriff?
It's like, look, I'm a botanist, all right?
Yeah.
I'm a botanist in my soul. But with her arms crossed over her towel and her eyes fixed on the screen, Betty provides her best Muldoon impression in response to this news. Clever girl. The driver asks if she really thinks so, and Betty acknowledges that she wouldn't have thought to do something like that. She says that now Emma has a chance, but the driver counters that there's always a chance. And just as the newscaster starts to interview an uncredited FBI agent, the driver reaches for the controller to switch off the television. The driver sits up, reminding Betty that she knows how these things often turn out. He immediately switches gears, whispering for Betty to take off her towel. She does as told, the cloth dropping to the motel carpet, and similarly, the driver crawls off of the bed and lowers himself to his knees in front of her. A poorly healed scar rests eye level to him on Betty's lower abdomen, the driver pressing his affectionate lips to the raised skin to offer it a soft kiss as he apologizes to her. For everything. Betty responds incredulously. A man who lacks emotion is sorry? The driver objects, insisting that he doesn't lack emotion. He rises to his feet in front of her, adding, I just process it differently. As he leans lovingly against her, Betty wonders, must everything about you be different? She tells the driver that she likes normal. His eyes somewhat shifty, the driver answers that he would change if he could, but he can't. He just can't. He breathes deeply the aroma of Betty's hair, a heavy sigh escaping him as he traces her hips and reaches for her hands. But Betty just begs, please tell me you don't love her more than me. The driver caresses her face softly, offering his promise that he doesn't love her more than Betty. He never did. It was just different. A wave of synth rises above thoughtful piano in the score as the driver leans forward to kiss Betty sweetly on her lips. The pair then retire to the motel bed, the driver climbing Betty's body with his tenderness, and we cut away as they presumably make it very sweet.
They're going to be fine. But I'm like, what the hell is going on? Who is she?
Yeah. I still feel a little weird. I don't know why. I'm just kind of like, I don't, what is, and I think it is that too, because my first thought was like, well, I still don't know what's going on.
I'm just racing in my mind trying to, because I can't just fucking enjoy anything. I have to always guess
Of
what
course.
the twist is, what's going to happen. So I'm like, is this an affair or something? And then you think that he still loves his wife, or like, what is going on? I don't know. And I don't know.
But we're moving out of town?
Yeah, because they got caught. And she's like, get the fuck out.
See, I was thinking like, of course, to me, this scene, the dialogue is a little stilted and awkward. But the core of it, I was like, yeah, I think that they cheated or something, and then they were, I don't know, driven out of town. Like Frankenstein's
They
monster.
live in a very moral town.
Yes. Or maybe it was the sheriff's daughter.
Okay.
See, that's. I'll be honest. That's more on the lines. I never thought he was cheating or like he was. I thought it was like, oh, you're running away with someone much younger and you're trying to leave.
Oh, because even the dude was like, she's pretty and young.
Well, it's that, and it was like, why did you say that?
Yeah. I just wanted to know what the hell was going on, and there being another woman and both of us knowing about it and him reassuring her and her feeling insecure about it. Like, I don't know. It just sounded like Lemon Square behavior, but
Yeah.
I was just confused.
But it seems almost like rebuilding the trust to get back on track.
Right.
But we then settle outside of a lakeside mansion where Denny, played by Bo Knapp, carries a statue of a dog to the back of a mover's truck. As he struggles to lift it onto the lip of the truck, Ethan, a much larger man, played by Tyrus, formerly known as Brodus Clay, can't help but smirk as he holds a similar statue over his shoulder with ease.
Yeah, Fox News, Brodus Clay, fuck off. And Bo Knapp.
Yeah.
He was in Super 8 in 2011, Southpaw in 2015, and The Gift in 2015.
Hey.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
It was.
I did wonder. I don't know if it's easily found out because I did not search for it. But Knapp was also the name of the producer of the film. So I don't know.
That would kind of track.
Yeah.
And just a sidebar, I do want to say there was next to no information in my research on production design, on cinematography, on the composer. But the featurette did feature a lot of footage of the Funkadactyls.
So there you go.
All right.
Everything is okay.
Yeah, that's fine. They're cool.
Right.
Yeah.
But Ethan directs Denny to put some muscle into it. And Denny just answers through grunts that that's really easy for Ethan to say, which inspires a chuckle. But elsewhere, a black Mercedes arrives at the iron gates that line the property. We find the father in the driver's seat, played by Rob Steinberg, and when he's unable to open the gate from inside the car, he asks his older son, played by Jake Austin Walker, to get out and open it for them. After a bit of back and forth, the son steps out and does as told, and after doing so, he rejoins his younger brother, played by Dalton E. Gray, in the back seat. Their mother, played by Andrea Frankel, smiles, home sweet home, as the Mercedes continues down the path leading to the mansion. But things are much more tense at the back of the moving truck, where Denny spies the approaching Mercedes. He loudly cries out, "Trouble! Trouble!" Yeah, that's your code?
I know.
That's your code?
We're doing something bad. We're about to get caught.
We're criminals!
If their windows are down, they hear you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ethan stands at the edge of the truck, peering out in the direction of the path. But from out of the mansion rushes Flynn, played by Derek Magyar, Tamra, played by America Olivo, and Hogue, the boss, played by Lee Tergesen.
America Olivo, we have seen her one time before. We talked about her, or we seen her in Maniac in 2012.
Oh.
Derek Magyar, he was in 4 episodes of Star Trek Enterprise in 2005.
Good for him.
8 episodes of Days of Our Lives in 2013. And he was in Phantom in 2013.
Okay.
All right. His character is insufferable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I guess that means he did a good job.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did what he was supposed to. And Lee Turkson, man, I know this guy.
Mhm.
I know him, not personally, but I feel like it. He was in Shaft in 2000. He did 10 episodes of the Purge TV show in 2018.
That's where I know him.
He did Desperate Housewives.
Mm-hmm.
He was in both the Wayne's World movies and 56 episodes of Oz from,
Yes.
97 to 03?
That's right.
Yeah.
We started watching that. I remember it was very bold.
Yeah.
But we pan past the crew as they stand in a line on the driveway. We catch the logo printed on the back of each of their tribal movers' uniforms, and as the family approaches them perplexed in their vehicle, Hogue addresses his crew, ordering them to mind his lead and let him do the talking. The score grows tense as Flynn supposes that it might be a little too late for talking. But this doesn't dissuade Hogue from raising his hand in a kind wave and plastering a smile across his face. This reminded me so much of when Wiggum is trying to smooth things over with Lovejoy. The family sits uneasily in the car, the father reaching his frantic fingers for a cell phone and raising it to his ear. But before the call can connect, Flynn draws a pistol from his waistband, aims it toward the windshield, and fires. The mother screams, suddenly covered in her husband's blood, as the car slowly drifts backward in an uncoordinated reversal. But Flynn charges forward to lay waste to the rest of the family, each round shattering through the glass and finding a home in one of the innocents inside. Shock registers sharply amongst the crew, Denny throwing his hand over his mouth and Tamra pleading with Flynn to stop. But it's Hogue who lunges for Flynn, tackling him to the ground and disarming him. They tumble across the front lawn, Hogue landing atop his subordinate and wrenching his arm over his throat. Flynn fumes. What the fuck, man? But Hogue silences him with a punch to the gut, his hand lingering at Flynn's ribs in a tickle or something. I don't know what the hell's going on. But Tamra secures the weapon, and Ethan lifts Hogue back to his feet, separating the men as Flynn clumsily climbs upright himself. As Ethan holds him back, Hogue admonishes Flynn, telling him what his problem is. He doesn't fucking think. He never figured out how to think. As Denny crosses over to the car to survey the carnage inside, Flynn defends himself against Hogue, reminding him that the guy had a phone. Hogue pushes past Ethan to face Flynn as he inquires, "You have a phone? Should I shoot you?"
Yes.
Hogue huffs, turning toward the blood-spattered window of the Mercedes. Certain that every cop in the county must have heard the gunfire, Hogue charges that Flynn has made a real mess here. But Flynn just sarcastically bids Hogue's forgiveness for saving all of their fucking asses. As we pan past their bullet-riddled bodies, Flynn wonders what Hogue expected to happen. That they'd just sit down and have a cup of tea with the Cleavers? A furious Tamra reminds Flynn that he told them that the family was on vacation, and Flynn supposes that they're now on a permanent vacation.
Come on, man.
Not willing to acknowledge Flynn's fantastic comeback, Tamra just seethes. Fuck this. Denny, unable to tear his tearful eyes away from the Mercedes, blubbers that this is so seriously fucked up. Flynn just furrows his brow at Denny's emotions. Is he fucking crying? Are you fucking crying? Hogue just glares at Flynn from across the driveway before finally turning his attention to Ethan, directing him to shut it down. Flynn can't believe his ears, but Ethan just repeats the orders of the boss with a pointed finger, which silences Flynn's dissension. Flynn stays behind as the rest of the crew follows the boss, Hogue instructing them all to make it look like they were never here. So this is a great crew we've got here.
Yeah.
All on the same page.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't expecting robbers,
No.
and this happening. I was like, oh, what? Where are we going with? What are we doing with this? Like, what?
It's like, how do they fit in with the couple?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, because it was
You
like
know?
a
Yes,
like a
yeah.
jarring. We're here and then we're here.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the hell? It is. How are these gonna converge?
right.
And we will see.
Mhm.
Yes.
But back at the Highwayman Motel, Betty rests sleepless in bed with her back to the door, the driver returning to their room and quietly closing the door behind him. He lowers his gaze to the carpet, muttering to Betty that he had to. He then settles into a seat next to the silent Betty, who pulls herself away from him when he reaches for her shoulder. The driver just darts his eyes away from her direction, muttering, "I'm hungry." I do want to point out it's funny as hell because whenever they were on the road, before they went to the motel, he just goes, "I'm tired." He's like a toddler.
Yeah. We don't have to guess what he's thinking.
I don't know if that's in what we learn later. I don't know if that's them trying to give him like primal motivations or his
okay.
attitude.
I guess.
But it is really funny right now.
Yeah.
Betty suggests that he should go eat then, but the driver expresses his reluctance to leave her here alone. In that case, Betty has another idea. Why don't you go have dinner with your girlfriend? The driver just shakes his head, disappointed, asking, "Would you be rational?" So this is a nitpick that I have.
Mm-hmm.
It's small things like this that kind of bug me about the screenplay because a small rewrite could have set her up for that line perfectly. Instead of saying, "I don't want to leave you here alone," he could say, "I'm not going alone." And then she says, "Why don't you go with your girlfriend?"
Right.
Oh,
Because
okay.
even if he went with his girlfriend, she'd
It's
still be
still,
alone.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, that doesn't solve any of my problems. I'm hungry.
But again, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting little pieces.
Right.
My note is I better learn everything that's going on by the end of this.
But the driver lies down next to Betty as she accuses him. "I know what you were doing out there." And to this accusation, the driver just insists that she's wrong. I have to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
We do, of course, learn everything that's going on, and so it does make sense recontextualized on a rewatch.
Right.
I have no fucking idea where he was.
Yeah. No. No.
No.
Having watched the film twice,
Mm-hmm.
because what we learn, there's really no reason for him to leave,
Yeah.
right? Because it's not as
Yeah.
if there's something missing
No.
Yeah.
or there's a search for something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we dip down from the neon sign of the motel, Harris's drill whirring down below in the midst of some nondescript repair. But the driver pulls up next to him in his car with Betty joining him in the passenger seat, the driver calling out from his opened window to the motel manager, asking if he could suggest a place for them to eat nearby. Harris thinks about it for a moment, leaning down next to the driver's side door before directing them to go up the road about 20 miles and take a ride on Highway 21. He says that there's a place called Helen's. Great food, delicious steaks. I was like, 20 miles?
Yeah, that's-
Yeah.
Wild.
So you can't just bring like sandwiches and milk like Norman Bates to the room?
No, they should have stopped at Flicky's and they wouldn't have to go anywhere.
But that's like 700 miles away now. The driver thanks him for his suggestion, but Harris then leans into the window to speak directly to Betty. He asks, "This old boy treating you well?" Betty just turns to face the driver, locking eyes with him wordlessly before returning her gaze to the passenger's side window. Harris shrugs off the awkwardness with a, "All right then." It's like, thank you for
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
What if it was something nefarious and he's just like, "Well, it seems fine to me."
Yeah.
Have a good one.
He tells the pair to enjoy themselves and that he'll see them when they get back. The driver just smiles at him in response, pulling off out of the parking lot and onto the open road. Some 20 or so miles later, we find the BMW reaching Helen's Steakhouse, and as the driver turns the wheel to settle into a parking space, he asks, So, this is all about her, isn't it? Betty doesn't understand how it could possibly be about anybody else. But the driver just reaches for the gear shift, desperate for them to just have a pleasant dinner together tonight. As they exit the car, Betty surveys the empty lot, supposing that it shouldn't be difficult for them to find a table. But the driver just snarks to himself. Note to self, do not order the fish. When Betty chuckles at this, the driver stops dead in his tracks, hopeful that this is a sign of her forgiveness. Betty just suggests that he doesn't get too carried away, and the driver answers with a chuckle of his own as they ascend the porch and head inside.
I know it's a small thing and he does it one other time later in the movie, but when he parks, he's just pulling in and parking. Like he's not getting in a parking spot. He's just straight pulling in, taking up all those spots and then just...
I'm so jealous.
I know. A cowbell rattles overhead as they enter the lowly lit establishment, which alerts Helen, played by Lenore Banks, who stands behind the bar. She dries a glass with a rag, setting it on a rack, and calls out over her shoulder for the driver and Betty to come in and make themselves comfortable. She turns to face them, directing them to sit anywhere they like, and sharing honestly that it's been awfully quiet these past few months. As the pair find a table and settle into their seats across from each other, Helen calls out to a server to come take their order. Amber, played by Lindsay Shaw, offers them a kind greeting as she sets down a coaster for each of them.
Amber Shaw? She was in 20 episodes of 10 Things I Hate About You, the TV show from 2009 to 10. The Howling Reborn in 2011.
Oh, shit.
And 45 episodes of Pretty Little Liars from 2011 to 2017.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
And she had no children, only dolls.
Really? Very good. Very good. I have to say, she's probably the only character in the film that I'm like, okay.
Yeah, agreed.
Everybody else, I'm just like, do not.
It's like, what the hell are you?
Amber shares the day's specials, a terrific John Dory and an aged ribeye. It is so weird to me that this fish has a first and last name. I don't think I could ever order it. It makes you want to eat it less.
Yeah.
The driver wonders if the steak is aged because no one orders it. And Amber just smiles politely that's very funny. It's like, flirting right in front of you.
Yeah.
That's fantastic work.
He's rubbernecking with the best.
But Amber suggests instead that she could start them off with something to drink. The driver gives a very specific order. Wine. I was like, no.
All right.
And she's like, I know exactly what you mean.
You got it, boss.
Yeah.
But before Betty can answer what she would like, Amber's attention is drawn to the front door, where Hogue, Tamra, Denny, Flynn, and Ethan enter the building. She curses, shit, as she turns away from the table, and Hogue calls out to Helen to order a pitcher for him and his crew. So it's like they've got a reputation.
Yeah.
Right.
The driver takes notice of them as well, watching as they take a seat together at the corner of the bar. A grimy guitar chugs over the speakers of a distant jukebox as Hogue just glares unblinking across the table at Flynn. Flynn just wonders where Hogue's sense of humor is, admitting that he just has to have his fun. So he enjoyed that.
Yeah. Well, Flynn's a liability. I think that even when he did it and was like, well, yeah, whatever fucking joke he made.
It was a great joke.
The joke was fine. But it's like there is no understanding of what you have done.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know why we're still letting Flynn.
Yeah. Why is Flynn here?
Especially if the way that they're making it sound is that this is habitual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would be super mad. We're robbing this house. Yeah, they showed up and we were going to try to whatever. But dude, you killed them.
Yeah, and you said they wouldn't be here.
Yes. Yeah, you fucked up, period.
Yeah.
Period. And then now we got to deal with that. Now we have no score.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're just fucked.
Yeah.
It's like, who's paying for this beer?
Yeah. No,
When Tamra curses Flynn as a total psychopath, he counters instead that he's a team player. But Ethan settles his large hands on Flynn's shoulders, squeezing them tightly as he seethes. You, my friend, have become a fucking liability, and my fucking wallet is empty.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hogue agrees. Ethan's right. Today is entirely on Flynn, and he says that if Flynn can figure out a way to make it right, then maybe they can all be friends again. Denny concurs with a true that, and this prompts a wounded Flynn to turn to him, wondering, are you mad at me also? Two is right there. I don't understand. This line is so funny.
He's trying to sound dignified. You know what I think would work for me a little bit better is if Flynn and Hogue were brothers.
Yes.
Okay.
Where it's he's fucking up, but that's my brother. I have a soft spot for him. You know what I mean? This is just
what are we doing?
Beat his ass and like leave him on the side of the road. Or something.
Yeah.
They don't care. Like,
why wouldn't we get rid of him?
Exactly.
Flynn reaches to cinch his hand at Denny's shoulder, snarling that if he has to take any of Denny's shit today, he's going to turn his fucking ball sack into a beanie. Denny has unusually large testicles. Everybody knows this.
So you're going to wear them on your head?
Yeah, he's like, dude, those would make a great beanie, dude. Has anyone ever told you that?
All the time.
I think it's pretty clear that he's the only one that Flynn can like rank on.
Yes.
Right.
Or get away with fucking with, because it's like that King of the Hill that I always reference when Bill gets slapped when Hank was talking shit. It's like, yeah, it's not fair. Or Dale, whoever was talking shit, and he gets slapped twice.
But it's straight up a bully mentality.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
and he's the only one that he can get away with it with.
But he shouldn't.
No. That's, and again, the relationships and dynamics between them unravel and we start to understand, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But when Denny tries to level with him, Flynn just spits back for him to shut the fuck up, telling him that he can talk once he's put in his time. Denny just reaches nervously for his beer to take a sip, and Flynn does the same. But from across the restaurant, he spies the driver and Betty enjoying their meals at a faraway table. The wheels clearly turning in his mind, Flynn lies that he has to go take a leak, rising from his stool and offering a sharp smack to the side of Denny's head as he leaves the bar. And again, they just all let this happen.
Yeah.
But at their table, the driver shovels a bite of steak into his mouth as Betty picks at her salad with a fork. He looks up at her, asking, "Don't tell me you're watching your weight." Stealing a leaf of lettuce from the tines of her fork, Betty answers that a girl's got to watch her figure. The driver just shakes his head, smiling that Betty is crazy. But Betty just counters, "Look who's talking." So later, this makes a lot of sense. But it did make me laugh that he watched her order the salad.
Yeah.
They sat waiting for the salad, and he's like, I got to make sure, like, if she takes a bite, I'm asking.
I've had it.
Yeah, I'm going to say it. But the legs of a chair land loudly at the edge of their table, interrupting their conversation as Flynn settles into it backwards like a cool teacher.
I'd be like, dude, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I don't want to rap with you, dude. He inquires, "Hey, you guys from around here?" When the pair doesn't answer and just continues eating, Flynn mutters to himself, "I think they're mutes." He then glances over his shoulder, shouting to his crew, "I think they're fucking mutes."
And they're like, "You're doing great, Flynn."
Yeah.
Like, why is no one coming up
I know.
and stopping this?
Like, let him cook. We'll see. See what he's trying to do. This prompts the driver to finally answer that they're just passing through. When Flynn takes this to mean that they're moving, the driver corrects that they're relocating. Saying, yeah, I don't know. Fucking thesaurus over here. I don't understand why that matters.
Yeah.
Flynn understands, though. Traveling with all your worldly belongings? But looking up at Betty, the driver explains that she is his only worldly belonging.
Don't love that.
At least he didn't say possession.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's still bad.
Yeah,
It is, it
still
is,
don't
but-
love belonging.
No, he's still using his thesaurus.
He's trying to be romantic, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But upon hearing this, Flynn leans closer to Betty, inquiring just how much she's worth to the driver. Betty finally turns to face Flynn, pleading that they don't want any trouble. And when the driver attempts to defuse the situation himself, Flynn slams his palms to the tabletop, threatening, "Hey, if I wanted to hear from an asshole, I'd rip you a new one."
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was preferable because I was like, if he says fart, I'm nervous.
They're like, dude, get out of here. It's like, you know this guy.
Yeah.
Get him. But the score grows tense as the driver just calmly chews his food, meeting Betty's gaze for a moment. But Flynn continues that the way he sees it, it's as if the driver's girlfriend looks at him like he's the unsavory type, like someone she doesn't even want to get to know. Uncouth, perhaps.
We still got the thesaurus out.
Yeah.
I was a little tickled by the fact that the driver is still eating.
Yeah. They just let him talk his shit, I guess. I don't know.
We've already established that he's hungry.
Yeah.
First things first.
Gotta eat.
Yes. Flynn then reaches for her hand, caressing it as he wonders, is that it? Betty's eyes dip down to the table, watching as the driver's fingers slowly trace the blade of his steak knife. But instead of letting him handle it, Betty just wrenches her hand away from Flynn's grasp, shaking her head at the driver and imploring him, "Don't." I laughed. I was like, damn it, that was our way out. But Flynn condescendingly echoes her sentiments. Yeah, don't. You're not the type. As the driver just stares forward, his jaw clenched in silent rage, Flynn adds, "Trust me, I know the type." The driver just turns his head to lock eyes with the sinister stranger. But Hogue finally arrives at the table, not a moment too soon, flanked by the rest of his crew. He settles his hands firmly on Flynn's shoulders, addressing the driver and Betty, apologizing to them for his boy here, noting that Flynn's idea of friendliness is to scare the tourists. Struggling against Hogue's clutches, Flynn leans closer to the driver to whisper, "Boo."
Oh.
This is very funny because his boo is shaky.
Yeah.
So it's like he's nervous.
Yeah.
It's like I'm in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
I've been fucking up all day.
But Hogue raises him out of the chair and urges him that it's time to go, excusing himself and the others from the table. They all depart, Hogue pushing Flynn towards the front door, but stopping him in the doorway with a stern hand, getting within an inch of his face as he commands, "Do not shit where I eat." He's like, I love Helen's.
Well, dude, if it is our hangout
Yeah.
or if that is where we come to eat or whatever, don't cause problems here. We can't come back.
Yeah.
And that's another thing thinking about it. Where the fuck are we?
That's a good,
Like, where are we?
that's a good
I
question.
don't know. I do not know. Hogue kicks the door open, the rest of his crew departing as Flynn stands solemn in the doorway before joining the rest of them. The cowbell rattles above their heads as they leave, but Betty flashes a look of concern to the driver, who just continues to savor his steak. We watch as the sun sets through the shadowy trees, night falling upon us as we find the driver and Betty back inside of their BMW in the dark. As they speed down the road back in the direction of the motel, Betty remembers the driver's words that he spoke in the midst of their confrontation with Flynn. She wonders wistfully, "Am I really your only worldly possession?" The driver just scoffs. "Of all people, you should know that I mean what I..." But before he can finish his sentence, a motorcycle revs loudly at the driver's left side, the firm fist of its rider crashing through his window, the shattered glass disorienting him and causing him to lose control of the vehicle. It's like, is it Mr. Grimm? What the hell?
I laughed out loud. This looked so funny.
Yes.
Because you see him go by and it's like, okay, this is
No, that was a stunt man.
Yeah.
Firstly. But the trailer dislodges, tipping over as the car careens off the road and into a ditch where it spins out, slamming to a stern stop right into a tree. But through blurred vision, fading in and out of consciousness, we peer up at the driver's side window at the approaching Flynn. The obvious assailant.
Yes, yeah. And how'd you not hear that?
He opens the door, reaching inside of the vehicle before closing the door again. I don't know what he did. But the world dips to black as the sound of the door's slam echoes all around us. But we then pan across the leaning planks of a poorly maintained fence, the golden light of a distant cabin guiding Flynn up the driveway as he arrives in the damaged BMW with the now upright trailer hitched to its tail. Not a scratch on the trailer. I don't know how they did this.
Yeah.
But Flynn parks outside, where he's promptly greeted by Hogue, who chuckles, seemingly impressed. He asks, "What in fuck's name is this?" Flynn answers that they could strip it for parts, but Hogue wonders where, pray tell, are the owners of this luxury vehicle. It's like, why are they talking like this?
I know. Because they were not in this cool space before.
Not at all.
No.
Now we're uncouth, perhaps.
Yeah.
Flynn explains that they're currently convalescing at the gas station, after which, he says, Ethan will encourage them to cooperate. Hogue is incensed, reminding Flynn that he told him he doesn't like his brother getting involved in Flynn's shit. So Ethan is Hogue's brother, we've just learned.
Yes.
Huh.
But again, the only ties to them happen when they're not together. Like the only time it's like my brother. It's when they are in the same space. There is not at all indication of that whatsoever.
Yeah,
so I think
true.
it would work better. That's why we have this loose cannon in Flynn still sticking around because that's my brother. I know he's a lot, but blah blah blah, whatever. It would just make
honestly,
a lot more sense.
It would.
We rip off Tarantino a couple times later in this film. Mm-hmm. Why not just steal that from Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The dynamic's right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Flynn insists that the driver is just some uppity rich motherfucker who was in the right place at the right time. He explains that all it's going to take is just a little bit of torture, and they'll have bank codes, PIN numbers, and all sorts of shit. Just, again, the writing, just a teensy bit of torture.
Yeah.
Like, who talks like that? Hogue can't believe that kidnapping tourists is Flynn's idea of fast cash, but this puzzles Flynn. Did he not just make up for their short haul? He snaps, "Why don't you get off my fucking ass?" But Hogue just gets right into Flynn's face with a stern warning. "Another fuck up like today, and I end you." He asks if they're clear, and Flynn just nods in silent understanding.
Just do it now.
Why not?
Yeah.
Just come on, dude. I understand. Well, no, I don't. I mean, I get him. Like, I'm trying to make up whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, you're bringing heat over here.
Massively.
You're bringing this shit, and we got to get rid of this. And how do you know that he has money?
You don't.
You're assuming this.
Just because he's driving a BMW?
Yeah, that's it.
You don't. And Hogue told you not to do this shit. Don't shit where I eat.
Yeah.
Everyone saw you harassing these people at the restaurant.
Yeah.
That's true.
And then now...
Yeah. Helen's like, "Excuse me, 911?"
It's just like, come on.
Yeah.
But elsewhere, we pan past a chain link fence, discovering the driver handcuffed to a chair in the back storage room of a gas station. He lifts his bloodied head, his eyes struggling to focus on the vague shape of Betty, who sits similarly shackled across the room from him. A distant door then rattles open, and into the large room steps Ethan, who stalks his way over to stand menacingly behind Betty. The driver wonders where they are, and Ethan answers coldly, "The last place on Earth." The driver just smirks. Oh, a comedian. This hits Ethan's ear terribly, prompting the mountain of a man to draw a massive blade from a holster at his hip, inquiring if this seems funny to the driver. He then holds it sharply to Betty's throat. This is very cheesy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
And I will say, until we get to what we're getting to, this is when my eyes started to glaze over, because I'm like, I don't know.
That's fair.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure.
I think it might be because I know him from wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I had a really hard time looking at him and being like, "You're serious?"
Yeah.
It's like, you're still smiling.
That's true. Yeah. As Flynn starts to search the BMW outside of the cabin, he finds the driver's wallet, opening it up to inspect its contents. But inside the gas station, Betty lifts her head away from the weapon that's pressed to her flesh. The driver demands to know if they've hurt her, and Ethan replies without hesitation before biting his lip. "What do you think?" Back at the cabin, Flynn busts into the trunk of the car with the use of a crowbar, rifling through the boxes and suitcases that he finds there. His search seems to be fruitless as he starts to empty the space of its items. But still captive in Ethan's clutches, Betty sobs to the driver that she's made a decision, and she begs him for his forgiveness. Ethan just shushes her. "No talking, sweetness."
Shut up.
That's the only line that works.
Yeah.
I just shook my head. I was like, all right. But now, with the trunk stripped bare, something catches Flynn's eye. A false wall at the back of the trunk. He peers at it perplexed, reaching his fingers to its edges to pull it off, revealing a metal panel with 2 small holes drilled into either side of it. But back at the gas station, against Ethan's protests, Betty cries to the driver that she can't do this anymore. The driver begs, "Betty, don't." But a tearful Betty just replies that it's been an experience. We then cut back to Flynn, leaning closer to the holes drilled into the metal barrier inside of the trunk, where suddenly a pair of green eyes meet him there, staring up at him from the other side. Flynn leaps back, a breathless, "What the fuck?" escaping him, followed hilariously by, "Oh my."
Yeah. What?
It's a gentleman at heart.
But removing the panel, Flynn finds none other than the heiress, Emma Ward, bound and gagged within a hidden compartment in the trunk. We have just lost cabin pressure.
Yeah.
That changes everything.
Yes. That recontextualizes the conversation in the hotel room
Yeah.
when they were watching the news. I just was not expecting this at all.
No.
Yeah. I did like this, but I think with everything's going on and then we're going back and forth, what's happening in the room, I don't know if this had that. I was surprised because I was not expecting this at all.
No.
But I think we linger on the holes for a while, and then it going back and forth, I was like, okay, what the fuck? Like, I'm not lost, but I'm like, what does this mean?
Mm-hmm. I think because it was, and this is my least favorite thing to script is when it's back and forth like this.
Yeah.
But I think that they're trying to ratchet up the tension. I think that's why it worked for me, because I was like, seeing them as being captive, and then it's like, oh no, you're the captors.
Yeah.
And that's insane to me.
Yeah.
And I think that it was successful because I was starting to lose a little hope. And I was like, okay, so now we're actually getting into something interesting.
Yeah.
It isn't this cookie cutter thing of them, whatever.
No, yeah,
Like
for sure.
Who are these people?
Right.
But back in the gas station, her sorrowful face precariously perched above Ethan's shimmering blade, Betty whispers to the driver, I'll see you in the next life. She then lunges forward, the knife slicing sharply into the flesh of her throat, blood pouring from this self-inflicted wound to the shock of Ethan and the heart-wrenching dismay of the driver, whose anguished cries echo off of the walls around them.
That's a hell of a knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cartoonish, I think.
Holy shit.
This shocked the hell out of me.
It did, but so he was just holding it while she did it because he had to.
It was teamwork.
Well, then he was like, what?
Yeah. But Ethan rushes to the other side of the chair where he faces Betty with bewilderment. But behind his back, the driver strains, contorting his hands until he's somehow able to slip out of the cuffs. He rises to his feet behind Ethan, ordering the much larger man to get away from her. Ethan just snarls, charging for the driver, only to be promptly disarmed with a kick to the dick, crumbling to the concrete in a huddled heap. The driver rushes over to Betty, reaching desperately for her, only to discover the severity of her wound. He caresses her softly as her body falls limp within his grasp. But behind him rises Ethan, who announces, "You're dead, fucker." It's like, all right.
I know.
Please take care of him.
Yeah.
The driver stands emotionless, turning to face Ethan and even tossing him his knife to follow through on his threat. Ethan snags it from the ground with a shit.
I know.
He's like, you're just making this easy.
That would worry the fuck out of me.
Yes, you're giving it back?
Yeah, that the fight would just leave. It'd be like, oh, I fucked up.
Like, damn, thanks, man.
He swings the blade and misses wildly as the driver steps out of the way with ease. And in Ethan's last attempt, the driver then catches him at the wrist, another punch pounded into Ethan's personal place. As Ethan grumbles a pained groan, the driver leans in with a correction. "That's where you're mistaken. But this should clear up the confusion." It's like, why are we doing this? In the middle of this.
I know.
He's like, I said that like 10 minutes ago. He whips the hook of his handcuff open, forcing it upward, the steel sinking through the soft spot under Ethan's chin and right out of his mouth to slide slickly closed over his jaw in a pernicious piercing. The driver then lowers Ethan to the ground, and with a playful pat on the back of his head, he notes, "Handcuffs. That was your first mistake." And as he slips his other wrist free of its restraint, he wonders if Ethan and his crew have ever heard of zip ties.
This does look cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
The handcuff through the mouth.
Yes.
But would that kill him?
We do hear him coughing and groaning on the ground.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's struggling through it right now.
All right,
but
all right.
He is still alive. But the driver stands upright, stealing Ethan's knife from the ground and tossing it back and forth between his hands.
No. Oh no.
He's doing that number.
He's the bad guy.
Yeah. And with the overhead light swinging above him, casting a sinister shadow across his face, the driver glances backward at the bloodied body of his lost love, his fury finding him firmly as he finally brings the blade down into Ethan's back. But back at the cabin, Flynn lifts Emma out of the trunk of the BMW, crying out for help from anyone who can hear him. Tamara answers the call, somewhat annoyed at first, but her tone immediately shifts to one of concern once she sees Emma resting weakly in Flynn's arms. I do want to say it seemed as if maybe Rob Zombie did some rewrites on this thing.
Yeah.
Because these are literally the lines in this scene. Flynn goes, "Can I get some fucking help here?" And Tamara answers him and is like, "It's too late for this fucking shit, Flynn. Fuck! What the fuck is that?" Flynn answers, "I found her in the fucking trunk." And then Tamara complains, "Fuck! She smells like a fucking toilet." It's like, did you just learn how to curse?
Tutti fucking fruity.
And I know I curse a lot as well.
Yeah, but
This is a bit much.
Yeah.
Space it out a little more than
Yeah.
that.
I mean, fuck. But Tamara tries to soothe Emma, pleading with her to stay calm as she removes her gag. But as soon as she does, Emma sinks her teeth into Tamra's wrist, breaking free from Flynn's clutches and trying to make her escape. Flynn catches up to her easily, tackling her to the leaf-littered ground and trying his best to cease her struggling and her screams.
You know what I just thought of?
Huh?
Emma was in the back that crash.
Yeah, she was.
Everything that's been going on. Just
She
chilling.
was. Chilling.
I mean,
She is laying down.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
That's true. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
But we then rise up to the second floor of the cabin, where Amber, the server from the restaurant, watches from the window. She tells a shirtless Denny, who rests in bed, and we learn is her boyfriend,
Yeah.
that there's a world of shit erupting downstairs. Denny checks his watch on the nightstand, announcing annoyedly that it's 2:30 in the morning.
Was that an I Love Lucy tattoo?
Maybe. He's not about this life, dude.
Yeah. I was like, aw.
Amber acknowledges the time, commenting that there's some girl downstairs screaming like she's got some bugs up in her. I do not know this.
Everybody knows that scream, right, guys?
It sounds like exactly like that.
Like that.
Denny just climbs out of bed, stepping into a pair of pants and pleading with Amber not to break his balls. But Amber approaches him, sharing that it seems like Flynn carjacked that couple from the restaurant. Denny can't believe it and says that he has to go check it out. But Amber has another idea, lowering him to the bed and crawling on top of him. But to Amber's disappointment, Denny rolls her over and off of him, rising from her embrace, insistent that he has to go see what's going on. He races downstairs to meet Flynn and Tamra, who drag the kicking and screaming Emma inside and toss her onto the couch of the living room. Hogue joins them, wondering what the hell is going on. Tamra then gestures to the bound and bruised Emma, explaining that Flynn found her in the trunk of the car he stole. Emma sits trembling. Where is he? Hopeful that they've killed him. She asks, he's dead, right? Hogue simply instructs Emma to expand on who she means by he.
Really?
I know.
Really?
We just said that we stole his car.
That's right.
My God.
You know who they are, damn it.
Yeah, I know.
This is obviously not the answer that Emma was looking for. But Amber then joins the crew downstairs. Her inquiries are interrupted by Emma, who asserts that they have to leave now. She sits, glancing back and forth at the group with shuddering breaths, disbelieving at their lack of urgency. When Hogue just directs Amber to try to get Ethan on the radio, Emma reaches her feet, repeating herself emphatically, only for Hogue to force her back down onto the couch. She cries that she doesn't understand why they won't just let her go, and instead of doing so, Hogue begins to interrogate her, demanding to know what she was doing in the trunk of that car. I don't know how this could be her fault. I don't understand.
I know.
What were you doing in there?
Yeah.
It's like I was bound and gagged.
Yes.
I was kidnapped.
Yeah.
You saw
Yeah.
that.
Which is also a weird thing because, yeah, you heard us just say we stole that car.
Mm-hmm.
But should we have not said that? Like, could we have pretended in any way that we rescued you by chance? Or
Oh.
like,
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, they're so
No,
stupid.
they're really bad criminals.
When Emma cowers from his questions, Tamra grabs her by the hair, wrenching her head back and ordering her to answer Hogue. Emma cries out in pain, bellowing that he had to move. He knew that they were coming, so he had to move. Tamra leans closer, questioning who they are. But Emma just beseeches her to listen. He's gonna come for her. He always does. Hogue suggests Emma should start by telling them his name. But Emma shivers that he doesn't have a name. She says that he's going to come here and he's going to kill them all.
He only asked that so that she could say he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's like, it's going to make conversations very difficult if we don't.
You just keep saying he.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like it's getting annoying.
We'll call him Steve. Right? That'll make things a lot easier. Amber then returns to the living room, and addressing Hogue, she reports, "Dad, Ethan's not coming up on the radio." So there's another thing.
Yeah. And so Flynn was starting the shit at your daughter's job.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're just like, let's go home. It's like,
Yeah, he said, don't shit where I eat, not anything.
Yeah.
When Hogue suggests that she keep trying, Emma quavers with certainty that they aren't going to get him on the radio. He's already dead. Flynn, who sits casually in a nearby chair, wonders how the fuck she knows that. Despite this being a very good question, Hogue just shouts for Flynn to shut the fuck up. Emma begs them to call the police, but Hogue refuses, causing Emma to very callously question their cognitive abilities. And the manner that she does so inspires a sharp backhand from Hogue, knocking her back onto the couch and out of consciousness. He then orders Denny to head out to the gas station and wake Ethan the fuck up. Tamara offers to join him, noting that this Flynn show is getting under her skin. They pass by Flynn as they make their exit, but he just sits there with his feet up, downing a shot of whiskey. But in the van, on the way to the gas station, Denny sits hunched over the wheel, grumbling that he's so tired of being disrespected. Tamara reminds him that this isn't a fucking book club and that he has to earn his way around here. If he wants respect, he needs to grow a pair.
It did make me think at this time when I was watching it. I'm like, okay, hold on now. I don't think any of you guys really understand what we just discovered.
No.
yeah.
She was in a box, custom made in the back of that vehicle, screaming about he's going to kill everyone. Get a hold of Ethan. He's already dead. Shut up.
Yeah.
You guys go wake him up. What?
I don't know. And it's like, what do you know? You've only been held captive by him for
Right.
I don't know how long.
And now what's his name?
Once we get past that, we can figure out everything else.
And then here in the car, he's like, nobody respects me. He's Rodney Dangerfield or some shit. There's no way I wouldn't be. Hey, that was weird, right?
Right?
You know, like that girl was in the car, tied up. Who did he steal this car from? No, just I want people to like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To Tamara's suggestion, Denny snarks. Like Flynn? Tamara acknowledges that Flynn might be a scumbag, but he's a loyal soldier, and that means something. Denny then whines that he's practically blood, but Tamara just scoffs that banging Hogue's daughter doesn't give him any rights. Though she comments that it's a brave thing to do, considering every dick in this town has been in that shit. These are her wild words, and I'm very sorry for saying them.
Yeah.
But that's crazy.
Yeah. No, that's really fucked up
Yeah.
and shitty. Yeah. She's like, and it's banging her dad that gives you the right.
Believe
Catch up.
me.
Yeah.
Denny scolds. Hey, that's my girlfriend you're talking about. But Tamara just shrugs him off. That's the boss's daughter as well.
Yeah.
If I'm Denny, and Denny does seem like a weasel,
Yeah,
I would
hey.
have, She was saying a lot of terrible things. I'm second in command now, right? But the pair finally arrive at the gas station, hopping out of the van. And when they discover Ethan's knife sticking sharply out of the front tire of his vehicle, Tamara assesses very astutely that something's not right.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
She opens the door to the van to snag a shotgun from the front seat, and only then is she ready to head inside. Denny leads the way with a flashlight, carving a path through the darkness and leading Tamara into the back room as they call out for an unanswering Ethan. But on a desk in the back room, Denny discovers the busted radio, curious as to what could have happened to it. And it's funny as hell because why did the driver do that? What does that solve
Just
or
to
prove?
be sure.
Yeah.
It reminded me of The Strangers. Where they just...
That's exactly what I was thinking.
But as he creeps closer to investigate, he suddenly loses his footing, slipping to fall spine first onto the concrete floor. He splashes into a pool of blood, and he rises frightfully when he raises his crimson-coated hands to his face and realizes it. But he soon finds the force of this sanguineous stream, the red liquid pouring from Ethan's body, which lies next to him on the ground.
This was hilarious because the reveal was just a slight pan, and it's like you didn't see any of this.
No. Ethan's not a little guy. Like him, there's a
I
lot.
And a giant pool of blood to match.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, are are your eyes open?
How dark is it really?
I was going to say it was dark until we slept and the lights came on.
They're motion activated. Shaken at the sight of Ethan, Denny climbs to his feet, wondering how the hell he could have killed Ethan. Nobody kills Ethan.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Nobody likes milk.
No. The beam of his flashlight glints off of the handcuff cinched around Ethan's jaw, leading Tamara to wonder even more, what the hell happened here? But as the pair continue onward, they discover Betty, who lies lifeless and supine across a hydraulic lift on the other side of the room. Denny's eyes trace her body, her throat wrapped in Ethan's stolen bandana, the young man barely able to mutter, "This is so wrong." And he realizes, Flynn really fucked up bad, didn't he? Tamara concurs, but Denny reaches for the cloth at Betty's throat, unraveling it to reveal that it was the only thing keeping her head on her shoulders. It bobs backward unnaturally from the wide-open wound at her throat, causing Denny to vomit rather dramatically as Tamara stands stunned, offering, kind of underwhelming, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
It's like, this should be a lot bigger.
Yeah.
She's like, "Wow, dude."
You should be throwing up too.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought her head was cut off. So I was like, when did that happen?
Yeah, I don't know if
Because
it's...
it looks bad.
It does. It
Yeah.
looks a lot worse than it was.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what happened when we looked away, when we went back. But we crossfade back to the cabin, where Amber enters the living room to kindly offer Emma a change of clothes and a pair of Converse that she thinks should fit her well. Hogue, who sits nearby, guarding Emma with a gun, calls his daughter over, asking her what the hell has gotten into her. Amber simply suggests that maybe they should let Emma clean up, but Hogue just scoffs, stating that until they hear from Ethan, he's not letting Emma out of his sight. But Emma reiterates what she already told him earlier. Ethan is dead. Hogue just fidgets nervously with a lighter in his hand, insisting that Emma doesn't know his brother. He's like, "Nobody kills Ethan." But Emma just smirks in response, "And I never will."
She ate with that.
She did.
Yeah.
That was good.
That's real good work. But bathed in the red taillights of the van, Tamara and Denny load Ethan's body into the cargo area with great effort, slamming the doors shut as they attempt to catch their breath.
It's occurring to me, Molly asked for this for so long. She's asked for this movie for so many years. If she just would have led with the fact that it's a giallo film,
Oh my God.
we probably would have covered it years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So Molly, I mean, just word to the wise, you know?
Molly is not a liar. Molly is a great human being who would never,
That's why I'm giving her advice.
she would never do this. But upstairs in the cabin, Emma disrobes, wrapping herself in a towel. But before she can step into the bathroom, Amber takes note of the scars and bruises that decorate the flesh of her back. With sincere concern, Amber asks what happened to her. Emma doesn't answer. Amber then asks to know her name. Emma still doesn't answer. She enters the bathroom, closing the door behind her, And then Amber literally prances downstairs
Yeah.
to approach Hogue and Flynn in the kitchen.
Well, she's got a job. She's not doing the crime life. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
She's not used to it.
She asks playfully, I have a question. Do either of you guys have any idea what you're dealing with? Hogue bypasses this question with a question of his own. Where the fuck is the girl? He told Amber not to let her out of her sight. But Amber just tilts her head, recalling, you know how you guys always make fun of me for watching all those reality shows? Flynn clearly remembers.
I felt that. I'm like, so I would be the one to crack this case.
Amber adds, just wait until you see this. Hogue and Flynn follow Amber into the living room, where she switches on the television, which is broadcasting an episode of American Crime. As Amber sits next to the freshly showered Emma, she explains that this show is mostly just pedophiles and bank robbers, guys who killed their families and shit like that. But she says that she's been really into this one story. Hogue just orders his daughter not to waste his time. It's like, give her a second.
I know.
Because when an image flashes on the screen, a picture of a smiling young woman with long blonde hair beneath a bright red banner which reads, Missing, Amber leans closer to Emma, compelled to ask, That's you, isn't it? Hogue and Flynn finally catch on, Flynn taking a seat to tune into the show properly. The host of American Crime, played by Michael Harity, sits at his desk in front of a wall of black and white missing persons photos. He reports, It was like any other Friday night at the Oregon Arts Complex, a night that would be scarred into the minds of 15 college students forever. I think he's AI. I know it didn't exist yet. But what the hell is going on?
I don't know.
He hates his job.
Yeah, clearly.
It's like, I wish I was a botanist.
Yeah. Thinking about those trees.
The host continues that Oregon student Emma Ward and her friends were having a party, celebrating the end of the semester like most students would, except this celebration turned bloody. Gruesome and graphic crime scene photos flash on the screen in black and white and in color, depicting the awful evening described by the host, where Emma's friends were brutally butchered.
What kind of show is this?
I know.
They're showing a little too much.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
No blur, no.
No.
The host wonders if the killer entered the house or was already lying in wait. But he says the police and federal authorities have never been able to place together the mystery of how or why it happened. I was like, you mean piece together? It's a puzzle. But when it was over, he says 14 students had been brutally murdered. We cut to Emma, whose eyes stare transfixed at the screen at the sight of the slain students. I will say I was a little puzzled by her reaction, because in one moment it seems like she's shocked at what she's seeing, and then in another moment it looks like she's almost smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just weird stuff all around.
Yeah.
But I think it kind of leads to, I don't know, there's some confusion with her character as far as her dynamic and what she thinks of the man who did this.
Right.
Yes. Big time.
The host concludes that only one person was never found. Emma Ward, the heiress to the Nashville-based Ward publication empire. He asks, did she know the killer? Until now, it was unclear. And he does say that, but it's still unclear.
Yeah.
They haven't figured anything out.
No.
We then cut to the uncredited hunter who discovered the carving that Emma scrawled into the bark of that alder about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But at a press conference, a sheriff, played by Dane Rhodes, holds up an evidence bag containing the bloody shard of glass that she carved it with. He explains that they were able to match the blood found on the glass to Emma Ward, and now, he says, they must continue their investigation under the premise that she's out there somewhere. Emma crumbles to tears upon hearing this, but the host reveals that the wards have offered a reward of $2 million for any information leading to the recovery of their daughter. But as he starts to transition to another topic covered on the show weeks prior, Amber switches off the television, leaving Flynn to sum it all up in one word: jackpot. Hoag asks about the driver of the car, and Amber understands that he must be the maniac who did all of this. Flynn beams that Emma has payday written all over her face, but Hoag laments that she also has the entire state of Oregon hunting for the motherfucker that kidnapped her. Flynn stands from his seat to face his superior, insisting that they're not talking about some nickel and dime highway robbery bullshit here. But out of earshot of her father, Amber leans closer to Emma, whispering, "Emma, you know we're only here to help you, right?" But Emma seethes, lurching forward to spit right in Amber's face, hissing at her as it drips from her hair.
Amber didn't deserve this.
No.
But it's like, you're not just here to help me. Like, I can hear you.
That's what I was going to say. They're
I'm
right
here.
Yeah.
And Amber did bring it to them in a way that
Yeah.
I'm not sure what her intentions are.
Yeah, right.
I think they are trying to paint Amber as the one with the heart, and I think that most of the time she does live up to that.
Yeah.
But this scene was literally, you know that sound you've been looking for? Well, listen to this. And fucking setting up basically a ransom.
Right,
Yes.
right. It is weird because, again, we could have been like, look, we found her, whatever. But you guys, you're holding a gun to her and you can't move, sit on the couch.
Yeah.
You're supposed to watch the prisoner. When the fuck did you become our prisoner now?
Yeah. Do you know what characters were made into the composite character?
No, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's starting to make a lot of sense if it would be.
Right.
Because it is kind of switching back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But Tamara and Denny finally return, covered in blood, and calling out to Hoag to follow them outside. He does so, but not before ordering his daughter to stay inside with Emma. In the back of the van, Hoag kneels at the side of his dead brother, reaching his hand to close Ethan's eyes in his eternal slumber. After taking a breath and collecting himself, Hoag orders that he wants this motherfucker found.
She tried to warn them.
Yeah?
I know. And even after watching that, you're still like, oh no, we're going to find him.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I feel like also I would take the hook out of his mouth or the handcuff out of his mouth.
This is how we found him.
It's kind of, I don't know.
Denny explains that they already searched for the driver, assuming that he must have hoofed it into the woods. But Hoag admonishes that they didn't look hard enough. Flynn, shining a flashlight over Ethan's body, looks on the bright side. At least they know he's not going to go to the cops. But Hoag intones, the man who did this doesn't forget the man who crossed him. And neither do I.
Ooh.
He directs his subordinates to get Ethan's body out of the van and put him in the shed. But before they do, he whispers a promise into his brother's ear. We're going to clean this mess up. But as Denny and Flynn carry Ethan's body into the shed, Denny grouses, why are we the ones moving him all over this fucking country?
What?
I don't know. It's not good. He says that they should just bury him proper. But Flynn has no interest in digging a hole that size for Ethan. They settle his body down in the back of the shed, wrapping him in a tarp to keep the flies off of him. Flynn then orders Denny to go clean the back of the truck, and naturally, Denny complains. He says that's bullshit. He's the one who picked Ethan up. But they make their exit. They leave. And as they do, the camera lingers on Ethan's body, the dust dancing upon the evening light cast through the slats of the shed. A low drone rumbles in the score as we slowly press in on him, his limbs suddenly shifting and his body squelching beneath the tarp as the score begins to shriek. Ethan then rises upward, the hook of the handcuff still cinched at his jaw, his face spattered with blood, and his eyes still closed. But his body quakes with movement before slowly slouching forward and sliding smoothly out of a large incision at his spine is the driver, dressed only in Ethan's blood. He slicks his hair back, the whites of his eyes staring starkly from his crimson mask, his unconventional infiltration successful.
All right. There's a lot done.
Yeah. Yes.
No
yes,
pun.
There is.
I genuinely couldn't believe my eyes. I thought when he started moving that we were about to shift into something supernatural.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, because I didn't see that coming at all, because
Yeah.
that's not what was coming.
No.
When he climbs out of this body, I just couldn't believe it. I'm not mad at it. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I think it also sets the tone for this is the level that we're operating at here. Like, you have to suspend your disbelief.
Right. Because again, he did just like Emma did. He took a ride inside this dude the whole time we were moving him.
Laying
And,
super still.
Yeah. And I
And
was
how long was he laying in there?
just waiting for them. He's like, damn, they're taking forever.
Was his nose where his nose was?
I don't know. Yeah, that's the other thing. Whenever, was it so dark that they didn't see Ethan's skeleton in the corner? Just fucking sitting there.
I don't know, man.
Because how else is he in there?
Yeah.
What the fuck is it on Star Wars where they
Yes,
crawl inside?
yeah.
That's all I was thinking.
He had to stay warm.
Yeah.
Does anybody else feel like he didn't need to be completely naked?
No, yeah.
I don't know why
is
he
he
did
like
that.
Frank Reynolds in the couch?
The driver's an asshole.
Yeah.
So this was a full silicone skin suit.
Oh.
They cast every part of Brodus Clay
Yeah.
and created the skin suit of silicone. And they said that they used, obviously not just here, but for the film, about 20 gallons of blood that they made from Caro syrup and food coloring.
Oh, wow.
And the director had said that his note again and again constantly was more blood, more blood. I want more blood, that they had to do scenes over and over and over again because he wanted it to be bloodier. But for this specifically, like I said, it was a skin suit. They airbrushed the skin doing veins. Like, I mean, this thing looked like him.
Yeah.
Like, it was insane. They put each individual tooth.
Well, they
Did all his teeth. They did all his teeth. They hand painted on his tattoos. They hand punched every hair into his head and shaved his haircut the way that it was. Like, so much work went into this, and it looks amazing. I saw in the featurette Luke Evans crawling out of it, and somebody was like, "How's the breathing in there?" And he was like, "It's horrible."
What do you think?
Yeah. No shit.
And the thing is the director insisted on doing it in a one long take.
Ugh.
And so it's not like we cut to, like, it could be somebody else or something in
Yeah,
there.
no, it's
Yeah.
him. It's him.
Yeah.
And he's covered in fucking fake blood and goo. And I mean, it looks really great. It's just the concept of this, if you think about it for 30 seconds, is really funny to me.
30
Yeah.
is generous.
It's just very amusing.
But I think, like you were saying about it kind of setting the tone, I would love if it did set the tone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, if we're just like, look, we're going to be absurd.
Yeah. You're on the ride or you're not.
No.
Yeah.
This is the start.
Yeah.
It's so over the top.
It's hard to move on from what we've just
Yeah.
seen.
No. Yeah.
And one thing I will say that is a credit to the film, you've never seen anything like this.
No.
No.
Somebody wearing a man's skin like power armor? No.
Maybe his face.
Right. That's different.
Yeah.
Yes.
hmm But
Oh my God. That's great.
inside the cabin, Hogue confronts Emma, who bluntly insists that she told him and that they should have listened to her. But Hogue just demands to know exactly what they're dealing with. And what's his name? No, I'm just kidding. Emma simply asks where the girl is, Betty. But a cleaned-up Denny answers that she's dead and that the driver must have been done with her. Emma explains that he never would have done that, not to Betty. She sighs that Hogue and his crew have really fucked up. Hogue asks if he's right to assume that Emma's friend will be heading their way. But when Emma doesn't answer him, he reaches threateningly for her throat, repeating that he's asking a question. But before he can grab her, Emma cinches her grip around his finger, twisting it and clocking him across the jaw. As he clatters to the floor, she snags a lamp and crashes it over Flynn's head, seizing this opportunity to attempt an escape. Hogue screams for someone to stop her, and Denny rises from his seat to grab Emma from behind. But Emma releases herself from his clutches, stomping on his foot and throwing a stiff elbow that knocks him to the floor. But before Emma can reach the door, Hogue has recovered, and flanked by Tamara and Flynn, their weapons drawn on her, Emma has no choice but to freeze right where she is. Hogue orders, "Stop, or it'll be your brains running down those stairs." Emma turns to face Hogue and his crew, sneering, "Then you'd better get yourself a mop."
All right.
She tried.
Yeah.
She's been without water for who knows
She
how
has,
long.
and he didn't give her a lot to work with either.
No.
Hogue cocks his pistol, but when Emma opens the front door, she spies something off in the distance. There, half hidden in the shrubbery, stands the driver, the moonlight shimmering off of his blood-covered body as he stares unblinking at the front of the house. Emma just smiles. "Oh, that's fine." "My best hope of escape is while he's killing the whole bunch of you. So I'll just wait."
Who are you talking to?
I don't know. Like, just shoot her. I'm so puzzled, man.
Yeah, I'm. What?
Nay's gone.
It's so funny. But this eye contact between the two of them,
Yeah.
it wasn't giving, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking kill him," or "Oh my God, he's back," or like it almost was like, "Are you guys a team?"
Yeah.
It creates some confusion for sure. Emma slams the door, stepping back into the house. As the score hums ominously, the camera hovers above a small lake nearby, where the driver suddenly rises from the depths of its waters. Now, completely clean of Ethan's blood, he stalks naked toward the front of the cabin, where he finds his car parked, and to pounding percussion, he somehow makes his way inside of the trailer hitched at the back.
That's enough.
Yeah.
We just seen you do that.
And-
That's true.
Yeah. I know they're doing an Apocalypse Now like reference.
Yeah.
But to hear the director tell it, it's almost as if we're supposed to be rooting for the driver.
Really?
You say the term anti-hero.
Yeah. So here, my issue with that, okay? Because if this is the situation, these are all horrible people.
Yeah.
Maybe with the exception of Amber and maybe Denny, right? Everybody else is terrible. So it's like if they killed Betty, or I don't know. It is hard to root for this man who has he's kept Emma captive this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her being tortured at the beginning and pulling glass out of her feet and being hung upside down. That was all him.
Yeah.
He also killed 15 college students.
I was going to say.
And he did that.
Yeah.
And he did that.
We watched the video.
Yeah.
Right.
The gruesome.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I would understand if this was like a revenge thing. It's like, okay, yeah, we don't need a lot of characterization to be like, oh, he's avenging.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, no, dude, you're bad. Like, you've killed a lot of people for seemingly no reason and
You love
are
it.
holding
Yeah.
women captive.
Yeah.
but yeah, go driver. I mean, I don't know. That's not an anti-hero to me.
No.
Yeah.
Like Don Draper, Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
Right.
Walter White.
Walter White. Those are anti-heroes. This guy's a real bad guy.
Yeah. This guy's a real jerk. Inside the trailer lies not only a change of clothes, but the driver's entire arsenal. Blades, firearms, a crossbow, ammunition, a satellite phone, and he promptly arms himself to the teeth. I couldn't help but laugh. This like futuristic ass trailer situation he's got going on. He presses a button and it's like, and it fucking opens another secret compartment.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what you've been hauling?
Yeah, no shit.
But similarly, Hogue and his crew assemble their weapons and ammunition inside as well. Having not been there for the viewing of American Crime, Denny asks Amber if she's really telling him that chick over there is worth $2 million. Amber concurs, but Tamara scolds. Denny, stop counting the fucking cash and start loading the guns. He's just their fucking punching bag, dude.
Yeah.
Hogue crosses over to his daughter and her boyfriend, ordering them to watch Emma, and if she moves, he aims his pistol at her face. Waste her.
Why is he being so mean to her?
I don't know. Well, she was mean earlier about the whole bunch of you and whatnot.
But why?
Because he was mean to her.
Because he wouldn't let her
Yeah.
go to the bathroom. He
Yeah.
He didn't want her to change. He didn't want like.
See,
She did kick their ass and
She
take
did.
off.
Yeah, but they were mean to her first.
No, they
They
were.
were.
I'm
They
just
were.
saying, I would be worried too. It's like, if you take your eye off her, she's going to fuck us up.
Okay, fair.
I think that's the other thing for me is that whenever we got that robbery at the beginning that went wrong, it seemed to me that Hogue was a little more level-headed.
Yeah.
And Flynn is like a wild card.
Yeah.
So all this stuff, it is kind of surprising because it seems like he also is a man who has a daughter.
Yeah.
So it's like, where is any of this?
Yeah.
So who were the composite characters again?
I don't know. Hogue instructs Tamara to lock this place down after they leave and to shoot anything that comes to the door. Denny wonders what Hogue means by we, but forcing his firearm into Denny's hands, Hogue answers that this prick isn't going to find himself. Denny trembles that maybe one of them should hang back and protect the girls. But Hogue isn't about that at all, insisting that nobody is hanging back. They're going to hunt this motherfucker and burn him down. Denny follows the furious Hogue, wondering, like a fire? A disappointed Flynn trails behind, reminding the younger man that it's a figure of speech. It's like, this is why you're getting your ass kicked all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, dude, just go home. I don't know
Yeah,
where your
yeah.
home is, but just go there.
Hogue exits the cabin and ascends the front porch, vulnerable as all hell as he turns around to address his crew. He shouts, "I want this motherfucker dead!" But suddenly, the sharp tip of a crossbow bolt sails through the air and right through Hogue's shoulder. He drops to his knees, groaning wordlessly, before he's lifted off of his feet and carried into the trees. I don't know what he's working with.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It is.
He
and
works quick.
Yeah, he's got to be light for that thing to pull him like that. I feel like that would have ripped through his shoulder.
I would think, well, one would hope.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how he's doing this. Maybe there is something supernatural going on. The driver watches his handiwork from a distance as booby traps burst around the porch, bolts blasting from unmanned bows as the crew fires blindly into the forest. The driver is able to make his way around the property, putting his back to a fence at the perimeter as Flynn and Tamara continue firing. And I think this is a split diopter shot, I noticed.
That's
Which
always
is
cool.
interesting.
Yeah.
The driver raises a remote, waiting until the perfect moment to press its button. And as soon as he does, a hidden shotgun within the trees booms, the shell tearing a hole right through Denny's gut, forcing the crew to retreat back into the cabin, slamming the door behind them. The driver just smiles, having clearly won the battle, but scurrying off to continue waging his war.
I feel like this is enough to go outside and like be like, look, I will shoot Flynn right now for you. He brought all this to my doorstep.
Yeah.
I'm here, dude. I don't want to fuck with you anymore.
Why are we willing to all of us die?
Yeah.
For Flynn.
Yeah, take him. You can have him.
A wounded Denny sobs on the floor of the living room, his high-pitched cries barely comprehensible as he screams that he doesn't want to die and comes to terms with the fact that Hogue was taken. With the help of Flynn, Tamara and Amber carry Mr. Orange. I'm sorry. They carry Denny over to the couch where he reaches his bloodied hands for Flynn, who assures him that it's just a flesh wound and that he's going to be okay. As Tamara sits reloading her pistol, Denny cries that she can't go back out there, but the loyal Tamara spits back that she's not leaving without Hogue. Flynn is sure that Hogue is history, which incenses Tamara, who denounces, "Fuck you, Flynn. Hogue wouldn't leave without you." Flynn counters that in case she hasn't noticed, the driver is everywhere. He rages that if Tamara wants to take her sweet tits and get shot off, then be his guest. First of all, oh my God, thank you.
I said thanks.
Second of all, again, the writing, he didn't say get them shot off. He just said get shot. It's like, was there no like script supervisor?
They're like, it's fine.
And what do you mean? Like, again, he's everywhere. You want to go out. You caused this problem.
Yeah.
Now he's like, oh, he's coming for us, man. I don't understand what the fuck's happening.
Tamara just pushes Flynn away, but before she can properly respond, the large white fan parked outside suddenly explodes in a ball of fire. The shockwave of this blast shatters the patio door windows and sends Tamara and Flynn flying off of their feet and onto the floor. But Emma slowly approaches the new opening, peering out into the night, where the golden glow of the fire illuminates her face, and a small smile slowly spreads.
She's just kind of unfazed. Is
Yeah.
that the? I mean, I don't.
But also, and not just unfazed, she's like enjoying it.
Yeah. Here.
Yeah. The next scene, she's like, I fucking hate it. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a matter of it being very complicated.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, and she is mad at these guys.
Yeah. But I'm also in harm's way.
True. That's
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's no laughing matter right now.
But Tamara and Flynn collect themselves on the ground, and once she reaches her feet, Tamara asks what the hell the driver is doing. Through her sick smirk, Emma answers, "He's trapping us." You're scaring me more than him. Tamara sneers at Flynn, placing all of the blame upon his shoulders. "If you hadn't have killed all those fucking people." Flynn then stands staring at Emma, who appears hypnotized by the flames out front, but Amber charges forward with a question. Killed what people? As her inquiry grows more emphatic, Flynn finally tears himself away from Emma, shouting that this doesn't concern Amber at all. Amber trembles tearfully, but Emma stands serene, suggesting that Flynn might want to drop the bad guy routine. She explains that she's his path to living, and yet he's so intent on playing the dying game. Flynn just cinches his arm around Emma's waist, leaning closer to her ear as he counters. "Well, then we're gonna die together, bitch."
So I don't think you understood my point.
No.
I feel like you're not listening.
You literally.
But out in the shed, Hogue awakens, chained upside down by his ankles above the open mouth and whirring blades of a thresher. I'm 99% sure that's what this is called. I will say a lot of things on the internet said that it was a meat grinder, and I'm like, I don't think.
Oh.
God damn.
What kind of meat are you
I
grinding?
know. Yeah, I thought it was like like you're saying a wheat thresher or whatever. Yeah.
I don't know a lot about farms.
I don't think we're throwing cows in there like that.
I'm not a cottage guy.
No.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't think so.
That's a big ass opening for some meat.
But the gravity of his plight suddenly sinks in, and Hoag bellows a pained moan, arching his head backwards to get a better view of his surroundings. And there, in his line of sight, stands the driver, who immediately interrogates. So, what are you, the leader here? Not properly mic'd for some reason. Hoag seethes with a noticeable echo that the driver is playing this all wrong. He says that his people are going to find him and they're going to fucking kill him. But the driver responds unfazed as he reaches for the chains. Who knows? You might all be heroes. But he adds, well, not you. He lowers the screaming Hoag down into the hungry blades, which rotate ravenously, slicing the side of his face into a mess of bloody flesh, his ear barely even attached when the driver raises him back up again. He curses him, trembling in vibrant pain, but the driver just leans closer, suggesting that Hoag must be so satisfied to go from leader to martyr. He asks Hoag if he has any thoughts on this. But Hoag doesn't answer, and instead just tries to catch his breath, his agony stealing it all away from him. But the driver then reaches for Hoag's mangled ear, tearing it from his head and speaking directly into it. Hello? So that's 2 Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
I will say when it comes to films, if it's stuff like this, I try to think maybe they exist in a world where they've seen Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, okay.
The thing with Denny being Mr. Orange, that's just a fan of Reservoir Dogs writing a screenplay. Yeah. But this, it's like, all right. But through his anguish, Hoag finally answers, I can get the girl for you. He says then the driver can just be on his way. But the driver disagrees, explaining that he plans to handle that task all on his own. But he thought that Hoag could get things back to the way they were. Can he do that? Turn back time? Can he do that? Hoag cries that he can't.
Yeah.
He's like, God damn it. The one thing.
Yeah, I listened to that Cher song 50 goddamn times. But the driver then asks him, you know what I hate about the common criminal? He says that they're mediocre. Hoag just whimpers, pleading to know what the fuck he's talking about. And the driver explains, it's in the mendacity that we achieve our very best. He wonders, is this Hoag's very best? Because he isn't even close. The driver steps off of the platform that holds the thresher, asking Hoag a very simple question. Do you know who I am? Who am I? Hoag, who's been trying to find this out all night, has no idea. But he posits that he must be a serial killer. As the crime boss hangs precariously over the waiting blades, the driver slides the slat open on the thresher to get face to face with him. He responds, a serial killer? Sweet Jesus, no. He notes that serial killers deal in singularities, while he is a numbers guy, which makes him a total psychopath. He admits that there are a few things that might stereotype him, though. Fixations, rituals, trophies. He holds up Hoag's ear as an example of this, but he says what really motivates him is the absolute need to get the job done. He orders Hoag to tell him how many people are in the house, warning him that he better do the math quick. Hoag quickly answers, 5. Fuck you. His daughter's in there.
Yeah.
The driver wonders if this includes his Emma, and when Hoag just stares at him perplexed, the driver scoffs. Oh, you thought she was one of you, huh? But he abruptly ends the conversation, rising to his feet as he declares that Hoag has served his purpose. He pulls on the chains, raising Hoag high above the thresher as he asks if he has any last words. Whispered within a breath, Hoag simply begs, "Wait." The subtitles said that he said, "Pity."
Yeah.
Which I was like, no, he didn't.
I was going to say, there were a few things on the subtitles where I was like, dude, are y'all okay?
But the driver appreciates this. Concise, not terribly clever, but the clarity of the intention is crystal clear. However, he replies, "No." The driver loosens his grip on the chain, Hoag tumbling right into the gnashing teeth of the thresher, his body shaking violently as he's devoured whole. His screams are silenced as his blood sprays upward, coating his corpse crimson as the driver turns away, exiting the shed and stalking his way toward the house.
So with him taking Hoag out immediately, I'm like, okay, so this is just going to be a race to kind of kill this whole group in interesting ways.
Yeah.
Because this is pretty early.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In him, turning into a monster or whatever he's done after he was reborn outside of Ethan. I thought that, I don't know, I was just surprised to see him go so quickly.
No, that's fair because I thought that there might be a little more between him and Flynn left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that we could have used a little more time with them.
Yeah.
And again, like you were saying, really thinking about it, if he was the voice of reason at time, we could have used that. We could have used him and Flynn being alive, or you know what I mean, being with them, or him being with Flynn and them inside.
Yes. And I also think that it's so weird that we have all these dynamics with Hoag. He doesn't mention his brother once.
Yeah.
He doesn't say, "Please spare my daughter." Like, nothing. He's like, there are 5 people inside. My daughter goes to sleep at 9:30.
Yeah.
Like, damn, dude. Like, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, no, you killed my brother. No, none of that.
Yeah.
But Emma stands at the kitchen window, peering through the blinds and into the evening. Amber sits behind her at the kitchen counter, disturbing the silence with an observation. "I bet you want to kill the guy who did this to you." Emma deems Amber's powers of perception to be staggering.
So you don't want to be friends.
Yeah.
I guess not. Also, so you also don't want to be friends with the driver. Like, everything that Amber is seeing, it seems like they are in cahoots.
Yeah.
So I don't understand where she would even get that.
I thought it was going to start to completely flip that way after the driver told Hoag, "Oh, you think she's one of you?"
Right.
I thought it was going to be like, "Oh, this is just what we fucking do," or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, no.
I think it might be, for me anyway, it would work a lot better if up to this point she had been completely fearful and it was just more a matter of warning.
Right.
Okay.
Like, he's going to kill all of you and stay with that. Not this weird, like, I hope he kills the bunch of you and stuff. I just don't understand. Like, it makes it a little strange. And I keep thinking about what you said. Maybe there are composite characters throughout. Like, we don't know who it is.
Right.
So maybe the people that are contradicting themselves constantly
Used to be 2 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But blurry in the background, Amber wonders, why Emma? Emma thinks it over for a moment before answering. I guess you could say, he loves me. We then retreat into Emma's memory, where a small slice of light through a tall window finds her cowering in the corner of a dark cellar. She stands fearful, her hair hanging past her shoulders, just as it did in her missing persons photo. The driver then enters the room, addressing his captive, and he suggests that today they're going to advance to something a little more challenging. He asks to meditate for a moment on the power that she has over living things. He reminds her that the only thing keeping her here is him, and if anything happens to him, she dies. As his fingers trace the cold walls of the cellar, he offers a fun fact. Did you know that there are documented cases in which prisoners found in cages long after their captors surrendered were left to their own final desperate measures, actually cannibalizing themselves? Emma bursts into tears, her hands reaching instinctively for her ears as she begs him to please stop. But the driver persists, wondering if she knows what the technical term for that is. Sarcophagi. He approaches her through the shadows, sidling up right next to her and directing her to listen very carefully. Holding a box cutter in his hands, he explains that when the arterial vein is sliced, the body tends to bleed out in 10 minutes. I just want to point out that arteries and veins are two different things. They are both blood vessels, but arterial vein is just silly.
Yeah.
The driver notes that it's not like in the movies, where someone's jugular is severed and they immediately drop dead. But he adds that it's also impossible for the victim to administer proper medical help. He asks if Emma knows what that is, and she doesn't. The driver assures her that this is okay, as he isn't a doctor either, but he instructs her. You elevate the wound above the heart and apply pressure to the area, and you bandage tightly. He gestures toward Emma with the box cutter that is very important. Emma shudders a gasp that devolves into a sob, unsure why he's telling her any of this. He caresses her face sweetly as he explains, because no matter how much you hate me, you have the opportunity to save my life. He then reaches the blade of the box cutter to his own throat, dragging it through his flesh, the warm arterial spray covering him, and the screaming Emma as he collapses to the floor.
I just have a couple things here. I thought that we would come back to this in a dramatic way.
Mm-hmm.
Him teaching her this, that we don't.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it was worth noting to me, as soon as the scene began, I realized that the dress that she is wearing is the dress that Betty was wearing at dinner.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Right?
And a bit of a clue.
Yeah.
But through the blinds of the kitchen window, Emma discovers the driver through the shadows, standing within the trees. And through the high collar of his coat, he reaches for the scar at the side of his neck, and there seems to be a silent understanding between him and Emma as he darts away into the darkness of the evening. Emma then turns to face an anxious Amber, who asks her what's going to happen to her dad. Emma posits that Amber and her dad didn't really get along, did they? And Amber admits that he wasn't the best role model. So very coldly and clinically, Emma answers her question. He's going to be tortured and killed. Amber then turns away, offering a hard-hearted, It's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he did just give her up. So
He did.
Yeah.
That's true.
it's mutual.
But Amber can't help but wonder, why didn't the driver kill Emma? It's like, I told you he loves me.
Yeah.
That was 2 seconds ago.
Why is nobody listening to her? But Emma supposes that the driver was trying to create her. Amber doesn't understand. What did he do to her? Did he hurt her? The score squeals as Emma raises the hem of her shirt to reveal a scar at her lower abdomen. A scar that is identical to the one that marred Betty's skin.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's like you have a system.
Yeah.
Amber's eyes widen, turning away from Emma, who tells her, "You should have run while you had the chance." But in the living room, Flynn watches from the bar as Tamra tends to Denny. She pops some pain pills into his mouth, washing it down with a swig of whiskey. So you're killing him. That's great. Denny sobs in her sweet caress as she promises that no one is dying on her watch. Emma and Amber rejoin the group, but Denny suddenly lurches forward, a deep cough racking his body, blood pouring from his lips to the dismay of the crew. I say dismay, but Flynn leans forward a little and he goes, like, you hate to see it. He's like, damn, that's it. That's all it is. Tamra realizes that they need to get Denny some real help, and Flynn concurs sarcastically. Yeah, good idea. I'll call an ambulance right away. Amber interrupts, suggesting that they try the Jeep in the garage, unless the driver got to that too. But Flynn counters that the Jeep's been broken down for over a year. Amber just retorts by recounting things as they stand. Her father is dead, Ethan is dead, and Denny is not doing so hot. She adds that she's looking at everyone else's ugly asses, and all she can think is they're fucking dead.
What?
I don't know. Why are we ugly?
Yeah, what the fuck did I do?
Tamra rises tempestuously from the couch, charging that no one has ever given a shit what Amber thinks. Amber snarls, "Listen, bitch, just because my dad was giving you the deep dicking doesn't make you my mother. And now that he's dead, that basically makes this my fucking house. So why don't you shut the fuck up or get the fuck out?"
Deep dicking?
Yeah,
Wild.
calm down.
Wild
Your
shit.
dad?
Why would you say that?
Why would you say that?
It's so weird.
See, he's knocking the bottom out that ass. Hey, whoa.
Everyone knows that he's great.
Get the hell out of here.
Relax.
And this is again where you're thinking of composite characters. You're like, no, maybe there was another person who wasn't his daughter.
Yes,
I would love that,
yeah.
actually.
But when a small shove isn't enough, Amber backhands the shit out of Tamra, sending her stumbling backward to fall upon the wounded Denny, who whimpers. Flynn shouts excitedly, "Hello!"
What?
I feel like we're losing the plot.
He's fucking Jerry Lawler now.
Yeah.
Forgetting what's happening around us.
Amber ascends the couch, punching Tamra in the face before the two of them crash through the coffee table beside them. Their wild tussle and tumble results in Flynn getting kicked in the face, the pair reconvening at the bar to trade insults before Tamra sends Amber sailing right over the counter to shatter the large mirror hanging on the wall behind it.
And this was WWE Studios? You
Yes.
said?
I guess.
Okay.
She hits her with a chair.
Well, when we're slamming people through tables, that's that's very funny.
Flynn finally breaks it up, standing between the women as he orders them to stop. But a loud pounding sound plods rhythmically behind them, and Flynn realizes someone's at the door. Denny drags himself to his feet, clutching his wounded abdomen as everyone stands there in tableau, the camera slowly creeping toward the sound emanating from the other side of the front door. Clutching his pistol, Flynn suggests that Tamra should go take a peek, and Tamra fires back that he should go do it. But when nobody budges, Amber takes it upon herself to do the honors, cursing everyone else as gigantic pussies. She creeps closer to the door, the rest of the crew following close behind but at a safe enough distance, as Amber leans closer, pressing her eye to the peephole. The camera pulls back, settling on the front porch, where rather than a person, it's revealed that there is a large burlap sack hanging from the awning, its swaying offering the incessant knock that they heard inside. So this shot from her eye through the keyhole I thought was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that it reminded me of two things. The first thing was a similar shot in Saw 2 where a guy puts his eye to a peephole and should not have.
Right.
The second thing that it reminded me of was when the camera pulls back in the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre through the head of the hitchhiker.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so this made me look it up because I was curious, and I found out that the cinematographer of this film was also Daniel Pearl, who shot not only 03 Texas Chainsaw, but 1974 Texas Chainsaw.
Okay.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Kitamura had said that Pearl had been basically his teacher for like 30 years because he had been a lifelong fan of his films. And he said that working with him, there was like a magical chemistry between them.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess there were a lot of things that he had wanted to do differently from the Midnight Meat Train. And Daniel Pearl was completely in favor of all of them. And one of the changes that he made was he shot No One Lives on 16 millimeter film, which was the same stock that he shot the original Texas Chainsaw on.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
What I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Another thing Kitamura said, which I appreciated and forgot to mention, was because of all of the digital effects in the Midnight Meat Train, that inspired him to stay away from that completely and lean entirely towards practical effects.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Tamra asks if it's Hogue out there, but a puzzled Amber answers instead that it's a bag. Without any deeper knowledge to answer his follow-up questions, Flynn pushes Amber out of the way to get a look for himself. But not satisfied with just looking, Flynn steels himself, reaching his hand for the doorknob and twisting it open. But before he can step outside, Tamra charges forward, slamming the door closed and ordering him not to open it. Denny, who is sunk to the floor, concurs. Whatever's in that bag is bad.
Astute.
Yeah.
He is bleeding out currently. But Flynn doesn't care, and he pushes Tamra out of the way to open the door.
Just let him do it.
I know.
Jesus.
When he does, he finds the burlap bag dangling right in front of him, twisting on the rope in the golden glow of the porch lights. And this glow glints off of something small that's attached to the top of the bag, something that Amber recognizes. Her dad's ring. But Tamra notices something else collecting at the bottom of the bag, and she asks, "Is that blood?" Denny screams for Flynn to close the fucking door. But rather than doing that, Flynn decides to call out to the driver instead, challenging him to bring it. I think he called him a jabroni. But he offers a stern kick to the burlap sack, its bottom tearing open, and out of it spills what's left of their leader. Hogue's blood pours across the porch, his organs splashing into the flowing pool of crimson that is collected beneath the swinging bag.
That bag was doing a great job. It was holding a lot of stuff in there.
It was.
I didn't know burlap could do that.
I was impressed.
Good to know.
And why would you kick it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
understand
It's
that.
like, take your gift and shut it.
Yeah.
Everyone screams, all except Emma, who grins somewhat deviously as Flynn retreats inside, slamming the door and putting his back to it. Amber sobs to Denny that she needs to get out of here right now, and Denny returns to her idea about the Jeep, suggesting that he can get it going. Flynn deems this plan to be fucking crazy, but Denny realizes that if he doesn't do something soon, he's not going to last very long. He says that he can get that Jeep going, and then he'll get them all the fuck out of here. A pensive piano plays as we survey various sites of carnage, the thresher where Hogue met his end, and the flayed husk of what remains of Ethan's body.
I think this is a little funny for me because not funny like haha funny, but Flynn is just like left Denny there. Like
Yeah.
Denny's like, look, dude, I'm gonna die.
Mhm.
He's like, dude, that's stupid. Why are you gonna
Yeah.
go fix the car? It's like we're not concerned that our friend is bleeding out.
Not so much. Well, he never cared for him anyway.
No, but
Still though, it's one
Yeah.
of those things where it's like, Denny, I thought I hated you, but
Well,
know,
we get that in a second, but it's,
but
you
it
know.
was like, what the hell?
Yeah. And I will say, I don't think enough has happened tonight for them to have these atmospheric montages of the horrors of the evening.
Yeah.
It's like, and this night where I guess 2 people died.
Yeah.
Like that's small.
Yeah. But in the foyer of the cabin, Denny reaches his bloodied hands to snatch the keys for the Jeep, leaning on Amber's shoulder to keep him upright. But when he asks for a gun, Flynn's lip trembles with emotion, and reaching past his reluctance, he responds. And I swear to God he says this because I rewound it like 4 times just to make sure. He says, "Okay, Danny."
That was his little personal nickname for Denny.
Yeah.
Getting it wrong. But handing the handgun off to Denny, Flynn asks if he realizes that the driver probably has this whole place rigged. Denny doesn't respond to this, and instead, he just leans closer to Amber, asking if she's ready. Amber nods tearfully, the pair exiting the cabin together, and Denny offering weakly to her that he loves her. The pair pass through the threshold, and they creep past the collected mess of what was once Hogue, stumbling down the stairs as Amber stifles a gag. Flynn hands off a shotgun to Tamra before exiting into the kitchen with a pistol to keep a close eye on Emma. We find her sitting on the floor with her back against the dishwasher, and she warns that he shouldn't have let Denny and Amber go. But when Flynn wonders what's it to Emma anyway, she explains that when they're dead, 5 becomes 3, and the last time she checked, there's strength in numbers. This makes no sense. Because wasn't she just talking about how she's going to use their deaths to escape when he kills the whole bunch of them?
Yeah.
And now she's like, we need everyone, every single one of us here.
Yeah.
Or else we don't stand a chance.
It is weird. It's like, are you trying to help us? What are you saying? Because if we're holding you captive as well,
And yeah.
don't you want us to thin out?
Yeah.
Well, that's what she said earlier.
Yeah.
That was
So-
my note was now you don't want them to
Yeah.
die. She's just mysterious, guys.
All right.
Poorly written?
Yeah.
Mysterious.
Oh, okay. But Denny and Amber finally reach the garage, sliding the door open and gaining access to the dusty old Jeep that rests inside. Once they climb into the cab, Amber finally returns Denny's affections, revealing that she loves him too. She rests her head against his shoulder as Denny twists the key in the ignition, praying for the vehicle to start. His prayers are answered when the engine seems to turn over on the very first try. But as we rise through the night and into the moonlight cast through the surrounding trees, the engine suddenly begins to knock. And against Amber's fearful protests, Denny climbs out of the car to fix it. He raises the hood, peering inside as Amber sobs and shivers in the front seat, and in her fear, she loses sight of her lover, and he accidentally startles the shit out of her when he crosses back to her at the window, telling her that he's going to try a few things.
Go try them. I'm like, dude, all you have to do is do whatever to the distributor cap and then get back in before the leprechaun gets you, and then we're home free. Why are you taking so long?
Denny shudders through his pain, instructing that when he knocks on the hood, she needs to turn the key to test it. Amber understands, and Denny promises that it'll only take a second. He returns to the front of the vehicle, reaching inside for a moment before offering her a small knock. Amber twists the key to no consequence, a desperate cry escaping her, and Denny returns to work, giving the compartment one more correction before signaling for Amber to try again. And finally, the engine revs to life once more as she twists the key in the ignition. She tells him that it's running and begs him to get in the car, but Denny orders, I mean, really lay down on it.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It's like it started.
Yeah, I don't understand what. We just need 3 more seconds.
No.
Yeah.
It's like y'all don't want to live.
No.
Amber assures him that it's running fine and pleads with him to just get inside. But before he can, the driver suddenly appears next to him, like something out of Michael Myers' playbook. He seizes Denny by the hair and shoves his face into the engine bay. Denny kicks against the driver's firm clutches, but none the wiser. Amber just continues to rev the engine, the machine mutilating Denny's face, blood spattering across the driver and spraying through the vents of the air conditioner to splash a screaming Amber.
So
Nay, you know how cars
I was
work.
going to say, as a seasoned mechanic, I know why this happened, but I was wondering if you guys knew.
I was hoping you would explain it to all of us.
It's so complicated.
Uh-huh.
I really don't know how to put it in layman's terms. That's why I was kind of hoping one of y'all knew how.
So the engine is also a vacuum
That's step one.
filled with blades. So this is how right, JP?
I was wondering where he put his face for that to happen. But
The hood drops closed, revealing the driver and the mangled Denny through the windshield. This prompts a fearful Amber to take off running out of the garage. We see the driver standing in the doorway, watching her go, but he soon snags a scythe from a nearby wall, hoofing it as fast as he can to catch up to the escaping Amber. Inside the cabin, Tamara watches terrified from the kitchen window, trembling that they have to go right now. Flynn readies a bag with supplies, zipping it up and ordering that when he says to run, they run. Emma stands by silently, watching the pair scramble, but Tamara wonders where the fuck they're supposed to go. Flynn just shouts back, "Did you fucking hear that? That was Amber running through the woods." He says that they need to go right now, and slinging the bag over his shoulder, he orders, "Let's move." Emma follows them out of the cabin, but in the woods, Amber runs as fast as she can, and when the driver can't seem to catch up with her through the underbrush, he finds her in a clearing. He hurls the scythe through the air, the blade twisting and sinking sharply into Amber's spine as she collapses to the ground. In the garage, Flynn, Tamara, and Emma discover Denny, sprawled bloody across the hood of the Jeep. Tamara tries to wake him up, but Denny just lies there unresponsive. So Flynn orders her and Emma to just get in the car, breaking the news to them that Denny is dead. As the women climb inside the vehicle, Flynn drags Denny's body off of the Jeep and out of the way of its path, lowering him to the concrete. He kneels over him, pride seeming to find him for a moment as he notes, "At least you died trying, kid." But somehow, Denny returns to life, coughing up blood and choking on it, much to the surprise of Flynn, his wounded colleague begging him for help.
Is the driver about to crawl out of him?
This is just his trick.
Yeah. Should have worked the first time.
But to Denny's cries for help, Flynn rises, answering him. Just a second. He then lifts his boot and plants it onto Denny's throat, attempting to choke the life out of him.
Why? I mean, I guess he doesn't want to deal with the injuries or whatever. I mean, I don't know, but it's like you had emotion for a moment, you know?
So he's the only bad guy, like the only real bad guy, I'm guessing. Because even the driver, I guess he's got a reason to go after them. Because
He's got his own code.
His fault.
Yeah.
Flynn, you know what I mean? He brought him here. Now all this is happening. Then he watched, his, I guess, other girlfriend with Brodus Clay when they were, or his, I don't know.
Oh, Betty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then now we're here, but like, instead of helping his friend, Flynn's like, well, hold on, let me kill him real quick. And
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm not quite sure. I think, and it's so weird to me because, again, like we talked about with this whole anti-hero thing, and you're like, yeah, maybe he is killing all these people as revenge for what happened to Betty, but Betty did that.
Yeah, she did.
That wasn't as if Brodus Clay was just like,
Yeah. Or Ethan or whatever. Whatever the fuck his name was.
I love that he's just Brodus.
Wow.
Well, he wasn't acting. Let's be honest. And it's so funny. It's very mean, but I do want to say it. On that featurette, everybody was talking about Brodus Clay, and they're like, this is the beginning of a Hollywood career. This is going to be the start of something big. And I'm like, no, it's...
Yeah, no, it's not.
No, it isn't. But Denny struggles weakly against the weight of Flynn's foot. But before he can put Denny out of his misery, Tamra bursts out of the Jeep, tearing Flynn away from him. Flynn argues that they're doing Denny a favor, but armed with her shotgun, Tamra just curses Flynn as a fucking asshole and orders him to get Denny into the goddamn fucking car. Flynn does as told with great reluctance. But out in the woods, the driver approaches the trembling Amber, who lies bleeding on the forest floor, the blade of the scythe piercing through her back and sticking sharply out of her chest. She coughs through the blood. Why are you doing this?
Because you were home.
The driver answers simply, keeps me fit.
That's a great way to stand it.
Yeah, I guess.
Amber cries that she didn't do anything wrong, which leads the driver to another conclusion. Well then, I guess you're just unlucky.
All right.
Yeah,
That sucks.
I'm glad nobody else is here to hear these lines.
He's like, I won't do that again. Not going to use that one again. But her chest wound looked really good.
I was going to say, the blade coming out, that looked cool.
Absolutely. Again, the practical effects are on point.
Yeah.
But when the crew exits the garage in the repaired Jeep, the sat phone beeps in the driver's hand, and he soon departs, leaving Amber to die all alone within a bed of dry leaves.
Was anybody else surprised that he got her this quickly?
Yeah.
It kind of disappointed me because, again, she is kind of the only good person
Right.
here.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And so you think like there is going to be something to where maybe it's her and Emma that kind of survive this whole thing.
Yeah.
But then you remember the title, No One Lives.
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, well, I guess we got to get there.
Right.
But I still don't agree. But in the Jeep, Denny sits unconscious in the back seat, Flynn speeding as fast as he can, with Emma sitting between him and Tamra on the front bench. Tamra just shakes her head, deeming Emma to not be worth the horrors that they've faced this evening. But Emma callously recalls what Flynn called her earlier. Jackpot. Flynn counters that it seems like he just saved their lives, suggesting that Tamra should be thanking him instead. Emma snarks that she's sure Denny is super thankful. As Flynn swerves blindly in the road, Emma instructs that maybe he should turn his headlights on. Flynn refuses, but Emma insists that they've made it this far and she'd like to actually live. But just as soon as he does, somehow, still clinging to life, Amber has dragged herself out of the woods and onto the road. Now standing in the beaming brights of the Jeep's headlights, Flynn collides with her, sending her flying like a rag doll into the tall grass.
Or she flung herself.
Yeah. No, yeah.
However,
Whatever, it looked so much like she just threw herself that I thought she was going to be okay
Oh, you mean
down there and that they were going to
okay.
pull over and go after her.
like
Yeah.
she jumped out of the way?
Yes, that's what it looked like to me.
Right.
No. Flynn curses, and again, very underwhelming. Fuck! And Emma pours salt on his wounds. You just killed the one person who actually had a soul.
What about Denny?
Oh, yeah.
Then he's like, fucking coughing up blood.
Well, he's dying.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah.
He's still alive. Flynn sneers. Yeah? Well, then what does that make you? And Emma doesn't have an answer for this. No talking from now on.
Yeah.
If this is going to
New
be...
rule. It's like True Detective.
Yeah.
We don't talk in the car.
And you can hear all about that
Yes.
on PMTV.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Patreon.com/thepodmortem. But the crew finally arrives at the hospital, swerving to park in the drop-off lane. Flynn steps out of the car, but not before telling Tamara to make sure that Emma doesn't get any ideas. As Flynn opens the back passenger door to drag Denny out and dump him at the front entrance, Tamara asks Emma, "You got any ideas?" And it doesn't seem that she does. But lowering Denny to the ground, Flynn whispers into his unconscious ear that he might actually end up being the lucky one. He returns to the driver's seat and the trio speeds off into the night. But walking the breakdown lane of the open road is the driver. A car suddenly pulls up next to him with a smoking frat guy, played by Garrett Hines, hanging out of the window. Upon spotting the blood-spattered driver, he asks, whoa, man, did you get into an accident or something?" The driver answers that it's exactly that. Something. The frat guy asks if he needs a ride, and after surveying the stereotypical doofuses occupying the car, the driver climbs into the back seat, snarking that this day just keeps getting better and better.
This was a lot.
Yeah.
His barefoot.
Yeah.
Up on the
Yeah,
side of the
what
car.
the fuck was that?
And the fact that when they roll up next to him, one of the frat boys goes, "The moon is really big. Whoa." I was like, same, dude.
But back in the Jeep, Emma wonders, "So what's the plan, genius?" Unable to answer, Flynn admits that he needs to think. He pulls off of the road and into the parking lot of the Highwayman Motel. He exits the car, throwing on a jacket and heading inside for the manager's office. After ringing the bell for service, a jovial Harris greets him with his signature line, "Please tell me you're not asking for directions, because I got 15 rooms with your name on them." Flynn just requests the one room, and when Harris asks if he's alone tonight, Flynn fires back, "Are we playing 20 fucking questions?"
You can't even be cool
No, I know,
under the circumstances where you're only going to benefit by being just a regular fucking dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Blend in, man.
Yes.
He can't do it. Harris stands silently for a moment before reaching for a key on the back wall, offering Flynn cabin number 3. But before Flynn can snag the key from the counter, Harris covers it with his hand, explaining that all he needs is a credit card. Flynn nods, reaching into his pocket for it and handing it over to Harris, who takes a look at it and punches the number into a pad. He glances down once more at the piece of plastic, commenting, "Interesting name." He hands it back to Flynn, and Flynn agrees. "Isn't it?"
Flynn, shut up.
I know.
Which is funny. That's not, if that was your name, I don't think it's.
Yeah.
And it's also funny to me because how much Hogue wanted to know the driver's name. Flynn should have been like, "Yeah, I got his card right here."
Yeah, no shit.
But after exchanging some passive pleasantries, Flynn pushes through the door to return to the parking lot, and Harris leans over the counter, making sure that Flynn is gone, and once he is, he reaches for the phone, putting a call in to the sheriff.
I laughed because my note was, "Hello, 911," and then he literally called 911.
I like that because I feel like it is showing he's not in on any of this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I know that he's not going to come out later and then be like, "I got everybody here. Now I'm going to kill everybody."
Right.
Yeah.
You're a normal ass dude. Because what else are we getting into?
The next
Yeah.
twist.
Yeah.
And we did see there was that shot earlier of Flynn in the front seat of the BMW stealing the wallet.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, a little payoff there.
Mhm.
But in cabin number 3, the camera climbs Tamara's naked body in the shower, the woman washing herself clean from all the blood. But Flynn stands in the doorway with a directive. He says they're going to be driving down the country road, just the two of them. And if the cops connect the dots, they're dead ducks. He says that Hoag and all the other bullshit never fucking happened. Tamara leans against the shower tiles, snarking that Flynn's wheels of genius are spinning. But Flynn then turns his attention to Emma, who sits silently at the edge of the motel bed. He kneels at her side, pointing a pistol at her hip, where all of our vitals are located. Ordering that she's just gonna nod her head like a good little girl. He says, so we're driving, and holy shit, we see a girl crawling out of the woods all fucked up. We throw her inside, and we realize we got us Emma fucking Ward. Payday. He tells Emma that she's his payday. It's like, yeah, you're just...
Yeah.
You've said that multiple times.
Yeah.
He adds that all they have to do now is kick up their dogs, relax, and freshen up. He removes his shirt, climbing to rest in bed next to her. He then seizes her arm, explaining that first thing in the morning, he's taking her to Nashville. Emma understands. Nashville. He's taking her home. Flynn smirks. You didn't think I'd just take you to some backcountry Johnny Law, did you? He says he's going to take her straight to her daddy because he wants to get paid. And actually, he thinks that she's worth more than $2 million. Yeah, he thinks she's worth 5.
Just 3 more.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not greedy.
Yeah.
It's like, let's be logical here.
He lowers her closer to him in a cuddle, pointing the gun to her throat. But Emma rises from his embrace, telling him that she has to pee. Flynn allows her exit, promising her that he'll be waiting right here. Emma crosses through the motel room to enter the bathroom where Tamara is still showering. She closes the door behind her, putting her back to the wall right next to the shower curtain. Tamara leans over, peering at her, and she gestures over to the sink, telling Emma that the gun's right there. Emma wonders, why now? And Tamara just answers that Emma isn't getting out of here alive unless she does it. Emma counters that Tamara should just kill Flynn herself. She hates him enough. But Tamara answers honestly that she doesn't want to find out that she can't. But Emma's different. Emma mulls this over for a moment before finally reaching for the gun and raising it. But when she does, she aims it right at a defenseless Tamara. The score grows tense as Tamara cowers against the cold tiles, Emma positing, maybe I should just kill you both. But when Tamara doesn't respond, Emma finally agrees. All right, then. I'll blow his fucking head off.
I mean, at least it's finally a plan we can all get behind.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, me and you can just get the hell out of here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
She hasn't done anything crazy.
No.
I mean, that fight with Amber was pretty...
Yeah.
was a lot for some reason. But there's no reason you and I can't just get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
I will say this scene would make a lot more sense to me if it were Amber instead of Tamara.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because there has been nothing, any kind of camaraderie or even conversation between Emma and Tamara.
Right.
So for this to be some silent understanding of you take the gun and kill Flynn, you're on my side now?
Yeah.
You want me to get out of here?
And what do you mean you're not sure you can't do it? You hate him, fucking shoot him.
Yeah, it's not like it's Hoag who she's sleeping with.
Yeah.
Like, none of this makes any
It
sense.
seems like everybody hated Flynn.
Yeah. But
She hated him the most.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm sick of this fucking Flynn show. And she's like, I don't know if I can kill him. I love him.
I'm starting to feel like I love him. I'm starting to feel like you guys are just posers.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're not really about that life at all.
But Emma lowers the weapon, and Tamara smiles gratefully. But the pair are interrupted by the returning Flynn, who knocks on the door, letting himself inside. He charges. What the fuck is going on in here? A fucking sewing circle? He seizes Emma by the arm, dragging her out of the bathroom and slamming the door behind him. He returns to the bed with Emma, The young woman reminding him that she told him she'd cooperate. I don't remember that.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
We weren't there for that part.
Oh, okay.
No.
But Flynn supposes that Emma would say anything. He bets that when that psycho had her tied up under his bed, she'd say all sorts of pretty little lies, wouldn't she? We suddenly return to the cellar in the somewhat distant past, the driver lying on the cold concrete floor and clutching the bloodied bandage at his throat. He breathes. "You saved my life, Emma." But Emma corrects that she only saved him to save herself, nothing more. As he struggles to reach his feet, the driver asks if Emma searched his body for a key to get out. But Emma sinks to the floor, crying that there was no key. But upon reaching the door, the driver does her one better, revealing that there was no key because there was no lock. He pushes the cellar door open with ease, the metal door swinging on its squeaking hinges as he adds, "Don't lie to me, Emma. You chose me."
Ooh, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm probably alone, but I kind of liked this. My only issue
You
is
are
that...
alone?
Yeah. That's fine.
I'm so sorry.
I figured I would be. My only issue is that I feel like this denotes complexities
Okay.
and dynamics that we do not get a taste of. I mean, I guess a taste, but we don't explore at all. Like, I feel like psychologically, this is so interesting, this test that he put his life on the line to put her through. And the fact that, is it trust? She just believes what she was told. She didn't even look, or did she look and decide that she didn't want to leave? Like, what is going on here? We don't get any of it.
I don't know.
Am I giving too much credit?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I don't like it because I feel like this is something that we're not exploring. Period. So
Right.
why is this here?
That's that and the fact that I really would have loved for this to have paid off in a different way, maybe at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't get that either. But this moment in a vacuum, I did find it interesting. I just wish that there was more throughout the film that kind of bolstered it or made it like thematically make a little more sense.
Okay.
I think it would only be interesting if we saw her push the door and realize that it wasn't locked, but she stayed anyway.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I don't
Maybe that.
believe any of that happened. I think that she looked for a key, couldn't find it, and just
And
sulked.
gave up. Yeah. But that's
and
what
this is like his dirty trick of being like, you thought it was locked, it's not. And then saying you chose me. No, she didn't.
right.
Yeah. Did he even have bandages on, or was
Yeah,
he
he
just?
did.
I was
No,
gonna say,
he-
was he
he-
like, look,
he-
it stopped bleeding on its own?
Yeah, he could have died. But
He had a fake throat.
Yeah.
But that's
It's
my thing.
Tenebrae all over again.
If we could have just explored this a little bit further, I think that the notion of this is very interesting because you know what I mean? What does that say? What could that say about their dynamic that we don't know because we don't fully know what happened?
But
here?
if we're gonna do this, I'd rather it be in flashes than these flashbacks. Show me what she went through and why she loves, quote unquote, him, or he.
But
or
she doesn't. But
Yeah.
he's saying that,
right.
You have the pieces. If you switch a few things around, you go back to that moment with Hogue whenever the driver was like, oh, you thought she was on your side? She's on mine.
Yes.
And maybe all of those flashes or whatever they are
Yeah.
could make more sense, recontextualize and say, oh shit, she was like playing a fool or playing
Yeah.
the victim
Yeah,
when
yeah.
she's just as bad as he is or something.
Or like this is their thing. This
Yeah.
is what they
Yeah.
like. Or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's a Stockholm syndrome thing. Or he brainwashed her. Or like there's so many different. Or maybe she's leading the charge and this is just, there are so many different ways that this could have played out. And I think that we just kind of play it safe by not picking one at all.
No, and the only reason she did save him is because he told her before he cut his throat that
I'm
if
your way out. Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
die, you're not getting out of here, and you're gonna have to resort to eating yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that is true.
it's just
So I would like to have seen her find out that she could leave, but then still stay
Yes.
and help
Right.
him. Because
Yeah.
if it weren't for anything, she would have no reason to, because she can leave.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I think that it just teases something very deep and interesting, but nothing comes of it.
No.
But this moment itself, I did find intriguing. I kind of liked it.
Okay.
I will allow. I think if you chose me, if we saw her actually making that choice.
For
Yes,
sure.
yeah.
But the driver steps out of the room and into the darkness, leaving Emma to sigh with sudden realization on the cellar floor. But back in the motel, Emma explains that you don't lie to the driver, not if you want to stay alive. Flynn just raises his pistol to Emma's temple, hissing that he isn't afraid of him. But suddenly, there's a knock at the door, the oscillating red and blue lights illuminating the parking lot as the county sheriff, played by Chris Carnell, calls out to them. And he's the stunt coordinator for the film.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
But Flynn rushes to put on a shirt, ordering Emma over to the other side of the door, warning her not to say a fucking word.
I don't know where I was where I was at or whether I was expecting mentally at this point, because my note was, watch it just be dude in a sheriff's uniform.
I'd believe it.
And he would think it's somebody else.
Yeah. Flynn takes a deep breath before opening the door halfway, peering through the crack at the mustachioed sheriff and bidding him a good evening. But in the bathroom, we hover above Tamra, soaping herself up in the shower before arcing over to the bathroom window, which suddenly slides open.
I'm like, are we just showering until we hear a gunshot? Like, does she
Yeah.
live in there now?
Well, it's been a dirty night.
Yeah.
The driver's hands reach inside to pull himself stealthily into the bathroom. Upside down.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is funny because it's like, I think they wanted us to see his face to know who it was. But it's like, who else could
Yeah.
it be? But at the door, the sheriff explains that it seems they have a case of identity confusion. He says that the motel manager remembers someone else checking in earlier that used the same name and the same credit card. He says that if they could just check Flynn's ID, they could clear all of this up. Flynn cuts his eyes behind the door to the smirking Emma, but the driver's silhouette stands opaque through the shower curtain in the bathroom, the murderer reaching his arms around the divider to wrap around the naked Tamra, his bloody face pressed to the plastic as he cinches around her throat and squeezes the life out of her. We hover breast level as the driver squeezes tighter, Tamra finally opening her eyes and revealing them to be bloodshot red. I will say I have seen a lot of people call this film a slasher film. I don't know that it is that in my mind necessarily, but there are a lot of moments where, like, we see him standing in the bushes at a distance. It makes you think of Michael Myers. Him suddenly appearing next to Denny in the garage is very slasher. And this shot of him through the shower curtain as well is just slasher coded.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know that they were trying to make him, at least according to the research that I found, the next like slasher thing, or like the next character, iconic horror person. But I think it didn't.
Yeah.
But
I don't think slasher watching this.
I don't
at
either.
all.
I will say that they had said, and I really don't want to piss you off, JP, with this. The director had mentioned whenever he was interviewed, they were like, who would you compare the driver to as a character? And he's like, well, if I had to, I think the closest character to the driver would probably be Hannibal Lecter.
He's lying.
He's lying.
He's lying. Come on, dude. Stop that. You think that Hannibal is going to look at the driver and be like, oh, yes, young pilgrim, whatever. Like, he's not going to. He's not. Like, stop. Come on, man.
Well, he did order maybe a nice Chianti at,
Yeah.
at Helen's.
Well,
That
we don't know.
happened.
We don't know
we
what
don't know
it
what the
was.
hell he ordered.
But at the motel room door, Emma reaches behind her back for Tamra's gun tucked into her waistband. But before she can make her move, Flynn presses his pistol to the back of the door, to the height of the lawman. He pulls the trigger, the round bursting through the particle board and right through the officer's eye. He crashes to the ground, his face a mess of blood and exposed bone. Again, this looks great.
It looks fantastic. I don't know if that was the correct trajectory of that,
No,
shot, but it did look really cool.
It did.
To the point where I don't care.
Yeah, and he's out of control, man.
Yeah.
Dude, what are you doing?
It's so weird to me because I feel like you could turn this to your advantage in a way. I don't know how you're getting out of the mistaken identity thing.
Right.
But you do have Emma Ward in this motel room.
Yeah.
And you could maybe distract him and maybe he's not thinking about that anymore. And you can say, hey, we
Yeah.
have...
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what happened at the front desk. I think he's mistaken, but we do have Emma Ward.
Yeah, no, there was so many ways to play this besides killing the fucking sheriff.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do want to say that other law enforcement people exist outside of sheriffs.
Uh-huh.
This is the fourth sheriff that we've met, I think, in this film. But Emma releases the grip on her gun, the sound of the fired round reaching the driver in the bathroom. Flynn reaches for Emma's wrist and drags her to the bathroom to collect Tamra. He calls out for her, ordering her to get out here. But when he pushes through the door, he finds Tamra alone, strangled, wrapped up, and put on display within the shower curtain. The water still rushing behind her, Flynn's eyes search the room in confusion, but Emma offers the obvious answer. He's here. But suddenly, Tamra lurches upright, her bloodshot eyes staring straight at Flynn in desperation. But Flynn, jumpy and with an itchy trigger finger, tenses up, and in a foolish feat of friendly fire, he blows Tamra's brains out.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you can't help her, but what the... Dude, what?
He got scared.
Yeah.
It was literally,
okay.
yeah. But it's so, I don't know. Just, I'm sorry, guys. Nothing's working for me. But seizing this opportunity, Emma makes a run for it, rushing out into the parking lot, only to be stopped by the pursuing Flynn, who aims his pistol at her. But out of nowhere, the driver arrives in the sheriff's car, plowing right into Flynn and sending him flipping over the roof and onto the asphalt. The camera pulls back through the passenger side window, revealing the driver's devious stare over the collar of his coat, his eyes seeming to pierce right through Emma. But Emma snaps into action, raising her gun and firing through the glass, the driver barely able to dodge her barrage of bullets. She crosses over to the other side of the car, but when she finally gets the drop on the driver, the gun clicks empty. Realizing Emma's threat has evaporated, the driver reaches his feet, which inspires an interesting and improvised escape for Emma. She lets out a wild cry, racing through the motel room and diving through the glass of the bathroom window. She tucks and rolls, taking off running as fast as she can for a nearby junkyard. I do want to say we watched the driver stealthily sneak into this bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
We could have just left the window open. I don't know why she had to crash through the glass. It would have made a lot more sense to me. Emma stalks the area cautiously, snagging a steel pipe for self-defense as she searches around for the driver. The camera rises above the stacked vehicles, and silhouetted against the moonlight cast through the billowing fog, we discover the driver perched upon the roof of an SUV. It's a pretty cool shot.
Yeah.
The driver jumps down to meet Emma, who turns to face him fearlessly, declaring that she's done running. The driver directs her, "Then come to me." And Emma does, approaching him slowly, only to swing her steel pipe across the driver's jaw. She cracks him once more against the spine, but as she stands over him, ready to move in for the kill, the driver discovers the returning Flynn, who stands at a distance, raising his shotgun. Seeing that Emma stands right in the line of fire, the driver rushes for her, knocking her out of the way just as Flynn pulls the trigger, the driver taking the full brunt of the blast. But as Flynn approaches him, racking the weapon to take another shot, the driver reveals the bulletproof vest that has taken all the damage.
You got to give it to him. He really did think of everything. Because he had to put that on tonight because he was butt-ass naked outside of the house.
Yeah, he was.
Flynn snarks. They make one of those for your face? And knowing that they do not, the driver goes all Assassin's Creed on him, revealing a hidden blade at his wrist, slicing at Flynn and batting the shotgun right out of his hands. A fistfight ensues, the driver easily gaining the upper hand and finding Flynn in a triangle choke on the ground. Flynn is able to lift the driver off of the ground, slamming him onto the hood of a nearby car and freeing himself. But in their struggle, the pair land with a splash into a dugout hole in the dirt, Flynn fighting for his life and finally gaining the upper hand as he retrieves the shotgun.
Who the fuck built this here?
The hole?
Yes, yeah. The perfect square hole so we can get wet and fight in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for getting wet and fighting.
Yeah.
That's what it's for.
But just as soon as he aims the gun, Emma returns, smashing the pipe across Flynn's face and stealing the shotgun away. The driver pulls himself to the edge of the hole, admitting that he definitely didn't see this coming. Emma retorts, "And give him the honor of killing you? I don't think so."
I was glad that she stepped in because I'm like, why are we getting a face-off between fucking Flynn and the driver? Like,
Yeah.
there is no... I guess they had beef at the fucking restaurant, but it's like, why is it not him and Emma?
Yeah.
The only way that this would make more sense is if they outright killed Betty.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it is, okay, so he does have a case for revenge a little bit.
Yeah.
Here, it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
The driver approaches Emma, appealing to her. "Emma, come on. We have something special." Aiming the shotgun at him, Emma barks back. "Are you out of your fucking mind?" The driver assures her that he's very much in his mind. He creeps closer, asking after all they've been through, she's going to go with this? He asks, "Don't you find it trite?" Emma reminds the driver that this isn't one of his sociopathic stagings. This is him, dying. The driver supposes that if this was one of his sociopathic stagings, he would have her say exactly that. And then he would say, "Go ahead, pull the trigger." He takes another step closer, and Emma takes him up on his threat, pulling the trigger, only for it to click dry. The driver scoffs. College girls. They think they got it all figured out. He reminds her that it's called pump action for a reason, and he steals the gun away from her and pumps it. He aims the shotgun next to her head, pulling the trigger, the blast resulting in nothing but a ringing in Emma's ears.
I'm like, so you did just blow out her eardrum?
Yeah. Yeah.
For what?
Yeah. She's deaf.
To make a point?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I swear the way that this shot is framed, I thought he shot her right in the face.
Oh my
and nothing
God.
happened. And so I was very puzzled for a second.
Yeah.
But he tells her that he knows why she can't kill him. It's because he's inside of her. She's like, "What?"
Yeah. Literally.
But he sidles up even closer, his hidden blade finding a home in the scar at her hip. He caresses her, telling her to breathe. Emma screams as he reaches inside of this wound, retrieving a blinking tracking device from her abdomen. He lowers her to the ground, dragging his bloody finger across her pale cheek as he tells her that it's time to set her free. The camera swirls above Emma as she passes out, but the driver then turns his attention over to Flynn, stealing back his stolen wallet from the criminal's back pocket. But through the night appears Harris, who stands frozen in fear at the sight before him. The driver turns to him, commenting, I think this guy stole my wallet. Stop. Thief. He raises the shotgun to Flynn's head, pulling the trigger and exploding Flynn's brains into the dirt. And again, this looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Harris stands harried and fearful as the driver then sets his sights on him, racking the shotgun as he reveals the very unfortunate drawback to knowing his name. He pulls the trigger.
I mean, I guess he's got a point.
He does.
Okay.
I would have liked this a lot more if there was even 1% recoil on this shotgun.
Yeah.
But sometime later, we follow the white coat of a doctor through the pristine halls of a hospital, the man finding his way into Denny's room, where the young man lies bandaged in his bed. The doctor reaches for the chart at Denny's bedside, looking it over, but when he lowers it, he reveals himself to be the driver.
Please.
I know.
I laughed so hard. This
I knew.
killed me.
I knew.
Denny's heart monitor starts to beat faster. It beats faster.
Would it yours?
But the driver presses the edge of the clipboard to the young man's throat. He leans in real close, whispering through the bandages and into his ear. No one lives. He jams the clipboard sharply through Denny's throat, the score shrieking as his blood sprays, the young man choking as his life slips away from him.
They had said on that featurette that they really wanted to approach the effects in the same way that they would do things in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And so literally this is a fake body with the actor's head on the pillow and his real body underneath it.
That's
okay,
cool.
And
yeah.
it works every time.
Yeah.
And also roll credits. You know.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
you did say it. I am laughing very hard that it was a clipboard that did this.
Yeah.
I said not a razor clipboard. I thought those were recalled. They were dangerous.
But with his dirty deed done, the driver departs into the hall, discarding his white coat into a nearby trash can as he exits the hospital. At the front entrance, a group of reporters swarm an arriving ambulance, their commentary cacophonous as they gather at the back doors of the vehicle. Paramedics rush to retrieve the gurney out of the back, percussion pounding in the score as we find the still living Emma resting on top of it in a daze. As they wheel her inside the hospital, they pass right by the driver, who gazes down at his former captive, offering her arm an affectionate touch. Emma slowly takes notice of this, but before she can turn to find him there, the driver makes his slow-motion exit, smiling a satisfied smirk as we cut to black and the credits roll. So, what did you guys think of No One Lives?
I think all we were missing was some Mudvayne right there.
I was thinking the same
exactly,
thing.
Yeah.
Why we needed to end the movie that way, I don't know. But we did. I don't know, man. I'm gonna be honest. The more we talked about it, the more I was I was losing interest. The movie is really fun. Watching it, I did have fun. There again, the effects, the gore is great. It's really good. I did like that. Watching this, maybe with a group or like we're having a couple drinks, put it on, and you know what I mean? We're kind of able to sit there and just pop in and out and see what's going on. That's fine. I think the more though you do kind of like peel back the layers and see what's going on through the movie or kind of talking about it, it hurt it a little bit for me. I'll be honest, it did. But I did have a good time of, you know what I mean, us sitting here discussing this and laughing about a lot of the stuff here. And the movie, again, it is a fun time. What characters and what's going on, I don't really know. I don't know why we're in a dungeon sometimes. We're not. And then like there wasn't even a lock, so I don't know what that means. And then even, does that mean when they were in the car talking, she was in the trunk listening the whole time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Wasn't she like, but you love her more than me, don't you?
And he's like, no, I don't.
I can hear you.
That's true. As far as the cellar door, I guess that could be explained by it's all fucking mind power.
Yeah, I love that.
Right.
Do you?
But I did have a lot of fun talking about it. So I mean, there's that, you know. But again, the effects, I would even say watch it. The effects are real good, like real good. I necessarily wouldn't think this is, if it's a slasher, this is not my kind of slasher. But I mean, we got a little Hannibal Lecter here, I guess.
Sure,
or, like who's supposed to be. Or,
If you ask the director.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there were parts of the story that were a little maddening because it's not like there was nothing there. There was something there that could have been very interesting, and they just kind of chose not to do anything with it.
Yeah.
And I wonder what that original story was, if there was more to that, if there were more complexities among this weird little gang or crew or whatever Hogue and his people were, having more of them, if there were more interesting dynamics, or if they just dumbed some characters down so that they would fit into one, or like whatever the hell happened. I am curious to see where we came from, because this has the foundation to be a very interesting story. As we were going along, I almost thought it was going to be something like a metaphor for like a toxic relationship or outgrowing a situation, but still feeling confined to it, even when you're not. I thought that we were going to go somewhere really interesting with that, especially the whole, there was no luck or fucking whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm kind of locking back in because I think that you have something to say. And then as the story goes on, it kind of feels like we did, but we chose not to, or like we kind of accidentally stumbled into something, but we weren't doing it on purpose, so we didn't carry the ball over the line or whatever. So it is disappointing in that aspect. On the other side of the coin, I think that the effects are really, really cool. I think that this is a movie that you would expect some egregious CGI in. So it was a treat to kind of see them really dedicated to doing it old school and keeping it practical and using copious amounts of fucking Caro syrup and food coloring.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm always going to give props for choosing to go that route when it is, I'm sure, easier and cheaper to do it another way. I don't know, man. This one is an entertaining watch, a turn your brain off watch. I think some of the choreography and the fights some of it is very interesting. Some of it's really funny because it's like, this was the final version.
Yeah.
There are things that are just funny in a way that makes it a little bit charming. But when you zoom out and look at the movie as a whole, it's like, what the hell was that? Like, some of the decisions are just very odd. Sometimes in an endearing way and sometimes not. So I don't know. I would love to take a peek at that original story. I would love to see if this was written with any deeper intent, or if we were just writing something fun, which is fine. But I feel like we were really teasing at some layers here that I would really have loved to peel back, but we just never did. And the title's a lie, because that's also not true.
I wonder if it would have worked a little better for me, or maybe just, I kind of wish that we didn't know they were like robbers or a bad gang at first or whatever.
Right.
Maybe even have them have a weird altercation with them in the diner, but not be Flynn over there like, hey, so I'm going to fucking rob you guys.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then later when Emma, and have Emma just be, she's just kidnapped. This dude's just doing that. And then maybe they find out, and then we find out, oh, this dude took you. Well, he's going to have a hard time going against the whatever
the
gang.
Satan.
Or the fucking, and they
Tunnel
have
snakes.
Yeah, there you go. And that, you know what I mean? They have guns, they're whatever. And then it's like, oh shit. Now we get to see these two bad guys go against each other. But it was very weird for me, honestly, seeing Flynn at the beginning, or he's already doing shit, and then it's just like, oh,
doing like level 10 shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even like
he killed a family.
He killed an entire family in the first scene that we met him. So that kind of takes out any shock that can come afterward.
What do you guys think of this, where it is like JP is saying, where they do have that confrontation in Helen's steakhouse or whatever, but it's without the murder, and we do have almost a complete flip where we think that it is Flynn and Hogue and all of them are these fucking criminal asshole whatever just based off of that confrontation, but it turns out that the only real bad guy is the driver. These people are maybe petty criminals that aren't killing people.
Yeah.
Well,
and so
we would need to change that.
Yeah.
It gets to a point where it's like everyone kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But what
know?
if this group wasn't so bad?
Right.
And it is this thing where they are perhaps, we can go and bring her back to Nashville and get the reward money, but we're not bad people.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh shit, the driver who we thought was this nice dude, up and standing, whatever.
Yeah.
Upstanding, I think is the term.
Up and standing.
He was standing.
He was.
But it turns out that he is just flat out the evil person.
Right.
Yeah, because I feel like after we get that twist with Emma being whatever, it kind of, there is no more. It's just we're just riding it out for the rest of it. And that was very early on.
Yeah, because to me, I don't mind having a story where we have like varying levels of evil or varying levels of a bad guy.
Right.
But I think that when you bring them both to this level, it's kind of like, I don't really give a shit about either of them.
Right. Yeah.
I don't have anyone, and you don't have to have someone to root for.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're doing this thing where the driver is taking on these like behaviors of a serial killer slasher villain, like I should kind of care about somebody, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
But I do agree with both of you that there is fun to be had. Sometimes I don't know if there's fun to be had with it or in spite of it.
Okay.
Right.
I think this is kind of like you said, JP, where if we watch this all together, we could have a lot of fun watching it and talking about it and cracking jokes as we're watching it. But I just feel like for how many moments of absurdity that there are in this movie, a man climbs out of the spine of of a corpse, and like this whole thing with his booby traps that he sets up in a matter of 5 minutes. There's a lot of things like this, but it's all taken so seriously.
Yeah.
They make it to where it's deathly serious, when if they would just lean into it, it could be and have the vibe and feel of like a B movie.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
for sure.
But this is not The Evil Dead. They're not trying to even give a moment of like levity.
Right.
Yeah.
Like this is deathly serious, and you're supposed to take it seriously.
Well, he has his little quips.
He does.
know.
They're all terrible.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
And I think that's my other problem is the screenplay.
Yeah.
The dialogue in this thing is fucking weird.
It needed another go over for sure.
Yeah.
I'm so puzzled by some of the choices that they make with it. And I don't know. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's not self-aware enough to be like a send-up or a lampooning of action horror. But with everything that you have here, it so easily could have been. Yeah. And I think that would have improved my enjoyment of it. Because imagine this, but more campy.
Yeah, kind of like Behind the Mask.
Sure.
That's fine, because that's at least enough to where it's like, I know this isn't serious.
Absolutely. Imagine if Behind the Mask was like, no, this is the most serious thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it takes the fun out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, we can slide into ratings. I think that the things that I didn't like about it, I've been pretty vocal about throughout. My biggest thing, though, that really gets to me is I feel like the characters are just so confused and contradictory.
Yeah.
There are so many moments that would just make more sense if you either switched them out or switched lines of dialogue with other people who have demonstrated this behavior before.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Amber is just such a confused character, and it doesn't make any sense for it to be Tamra, Flynn, and Emma at the end in that motel.
Right.
If it were Amber, that would explain a lot of other things, the dynamics of that conversation in the bathroom, and this understood almost partnership with her and Emma, and this desire to get rid of Flynn.
Yeah.
I don't really get it. And I want more history as far as the driver and Emma and what Emma is actually thinking.
Okay.
Because at some points she's like, hell yeah, he's going to kill you all. And then at other points it's like, I want to kill him. And in the end, it is this big reveal of her being like, no, I don't want them to be the one to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you were super happy about him coming here to kill them.
Right.
Yeah.
And she was taunting them about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All night.
But I think even that we can be the same thing for Betty, because what Betty did, and then we're with her at the beginning. So
Yeah.
even me, I know Emma's an interesting character, but what about Betty? What she did and what was going on? Like she did that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, what's going on?
But she seemed, she was so possessive and jealous of him. So it's like, are we leaning into this like cult of personality where he is taking these women, but there is just something about him where they, it's a Stockholm syndrome situation, and this is just what he does.
Yeah.
And then he tracks them because she had that same scar.
Yeah, she did.
So it's
Yeah.
like, I would love to lean into the psychological aspect of that, and maybe that would give these women more agency in the story as to why did Betty do that? I know she said, I can't do this anymore. What is this? What does that mean?
Yeah.
What is that? How many of y'all have there been? Has it just been Emma and Betty? Are there other, like, what the hell is going on here?
Maybe they saw that as giving Betty agency, that she made the decision.
Right.
But I don't.
Why?
Yeah, but why?
And I feel like I don't know, because what is the motivation of the driver in that case? It's not as if it is revenge. I'm still stuck on that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because it's like we're kind of relying on tropes because if you don't think too hard about it, Betty's dead and now he's gonna mow through them.
Yeah.
But if you stop and say, well, but they didn't kill Betty though. Like even Ethan was like, what the fuck when she did it? He wasn't gonna kill her.
He held a good grip on the knife.
He did.
But
He's a henchman. Yeah.
He's like, somebody call my mama.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. But I guess you can't get all that you want in 78 minutes.
Yeah, that's
For
the
sure.
thing too.
Like, it's impossible. I don't think that the things that we want fleshed out. But why isn't it 90 minutes long?
Yeah, I don't know.
I would take a little bit more of this to have that dynamic fleshed out a little more.
Right.
But on the positive side, I thought the music was interesting at some points. I like the score during the reveal of Emma in the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Luke Evans is having a blast very clearly.
Oh, yeah.
I think the practical effects are fantastic throughout, and probably the biggest strength of this film. That, I don't know what you would even call it, the cast or the dummy of Brodus Clay.
Amazing.
That is such good
Amazing.
work.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that the rest of it, it left a lot to be desired for me, though I did have a lot of fun talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say, if this were a score regarding my appreciation of Molly, who suggested this,
Yes.
Yeah.
that's a 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Be a very
100%.
different score.
Yes.
But for me, out of 10 vicious acts of violence, I am going to give No One Lives 4 vicious acts of violence out of 10. I just wanted more. And I think that that's what's so upsetting, is that there are the pieces there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You could really turn this into something that would have been more interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, if you loved this and got a lot of enjoyment out of it, I love that for you.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad.
Mm-hmm.
But I will now open the floor to you.
No, I had a lot of fun with the movie. I do, again, agree with everything we've said about, like, I think T, you're right. I did just want more, and I think that's kind of what left me a little disappointed, because that is cool, him coming out of his back. I will be honest, it's very, very too soon when he's coming out of the water just like that again. It's like, I guess I get you got to rinse Brodus off you, but it's like, dude, you chose that also to hide inside of him. You know what I mean? I don't know how you...
You made that bet?
Yeah, you did that. I don't know how you were breathing in there for that long. I don't know what, but it looked cool. And again, the handcuff coming through his jaw, like, that was cool. The sickle or the blade coming out of Amber, like, all that looked cool. The bag with the guts of dude Hugh or Hogue or what is... that was cool, but I think it is that it's the choices, some of the things they say, some of the like it does feel weird and it throws me off a little bit. And I know you liked it, babe. The little snippets of them being in the dungeon or whatever's going on. I guess I can understand, but if you're gonna do it, you need to commit to that. You need to at least show something else other than what you got or what we got. Because for me, I'm just confused and feel like it didn't need to go there. You could have shown anything else. You could have done anything else. How? I don't even know. I think that just leaves more questions to me because they both did have the same scar, Emma and Betty. So you've tracked both of them. You're letting Emma go. Why? What? Like, I still don't know why he let her go. I don't understand.
Because she would have killed him. And so she's like free. Like she's not.
No?
So is that what he wanted?
I don't know.
Because if this was one of his pseudo psycho, whatever the fuck he said, the events or whatever he was stagings, that's what, like, again, even that, I'm like, what does that mean? So he's staged shit for you before? Like, what does that mean? What the hell?
We saw the one in the cellar.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like it is very fun if you don't think about it. Just kind of watching it and being like, oh, dude, this was, that was crazy. Oh, shit, what's happening? Oh, he just climbed out that dude's back. Like, it is if you're just kind of watching it to watch it. Take some shots and then just kind of like, oh, this, blur the lines a little bit because I don't know what's going on here. But again, even with all that, for me, on a scale from 1 to 10, vicious acts of violence, I'm going to give No One Lives a 5.5 out of 10. I did get enjoyment out of it. I did find some times where I was just laughing. But I think all the stuff that's around it really just kind of made me scratch my head. And the more we talked about it, I don't know. I think I was in that dungeon. Like, I don't.
But there was no lock. You could have just left.
Put one on there.
Yeah, I'll be brief. I think that my biggest drawback is I think that there are some really interesting thematic and like psychological seeds being planted that we just don't water or expose to sun or talk to or actually put in the soil. I like those aspects that are teased, but I just would love for something to have come of it. I think that everyone does a decent job, some better than others. Some of the line deliveries are pretty funny. Like you said, T. Luke Evans is having a blast.
Yeah.
The practical effects are incredible. That silicone cast of Ethan that first of all, him climbing out of that is fucking hilarious. That's so good. I actually really enjoyed that because I was like, there's no fucking way, dude.
Yeah.
But it's excellent work, like incredible, meticulous work. The practical effects, I have nothing to complain about there. I think that they did a fantastic job. I just think that narratively and just the character work on some of these people don't make sense. And I know that I'm really hanging on to the fact that you said that there are composite characters because that's the only way that I'm like, oh, that's why some of y'all are so contradictory because I think that you might just be two characters that they duct taped together and didn't really maybe fully take the time to integrate into one cohesive character.
Yeah.
Because I get it. If you're telling this type of a story, you might think it doesn't fucking matter. They're all going to die anyway. Like, let's just establish who they are, even if it's tropey. But like, even the tropey parts of them contradict themselves sometimes. So I don't know. I feel like we just needed one more pass through that script, and I think that would have helped a lot. But we didn't do that, and so I have to judge what's on the plate. Like it's in Chopped. I see that you were working on something great over there. I gotta judge what was on the plate.
You left your sauce at the burner.
Yeah, and it looked delicious.
It did.
Unfortunately, I can't taste it. So, with all the love in the world to our great, beautiful, incredible friend Molly on her birthday.
Yeah.
On a scale from 1 to 10. Vicious acts of violence. I am also going to give No One Lives a 5.5. I think that there are aspects of this that really did work for me, and I think that it is a fun and entertaining watch. But if we're juggling themes that are a little bit deeper than what is presented, and I would just have loved for more room to explore those, or for them to be left out completely.
Absolutely.
And for this to just be a 70 whatever minute bloodbath.
Yeah.
That would have been completely fine with me. But for me, you can't have both.
Happy birthday,
Molly!
We love you, Molly.
Love you.
Well, that's all from us at Pod Mortem. What would you rate No One Lives, and what should we watch next? Let us know on Instagram at the Pod Mortem. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and like our Stairhole Productions page on Facebook. Be sure to follow each of us on Instagram and Blue Sky at TravisMWH, at Blood and Smoke, and at Juggalo Daddy 84. Thanks again to Original Cinematic for sponsoring this week's episode. Please consider pledging to our Patreon, where you'll gain access to over 300 hours of bonus content, our monthly schedule, our Discord server, and the opportunity to help us decide which films to cover. And if you're looking for Pod Mortem and Stairhole Productions merch, follow the link in our episode notes. Stay tuned until after the music for a special thank you to our Wendigo Getter patrons. And remember, one of the most foolish things you can do is underestimate a stranger. If you're proven wrong, it just might be the last mistake you ever make. Until next time. Thank you for staying tuned. We want to give a very special thank you to our Wendigo Getter patrons.
Woo, yeah.
Fantastic work. A special thank you to
Chris Ontiveros, Kristen Lofton, Megan Martinez, Kimberly Bass, Sophie Hodson, Anthony Jerome M., Jordan Nash, Kent Morton, Lala Thomas, Travis Anissa Hunter, Miguel Myers ATX, Jennifer Perez, Allison O'Neill, Carissa, TJ and Angie Bronson, Andy Teague, Applin Ontiveros, Karima Rhodes, Kimberly Kleindienst, Bobby Holmes, Donna Eason, JD Rezak, Molly Gerhard, Armand Spasto, Aaron Aguirre, Eggy, William Barry, Charity Oxner, Amanda Six, Mandy Rainwater, Jordan Roberts, Dylan, Spencer Montavo, Pancake the Panda, John Ramos, Michael Newting, Alexis Roberts, Itzy M, Gary Horton, Kate Lamb, Carlos and Sydney, Jessica Hunter, Helena Rudder, Alan Johnston, Mariah, Livy Fun, Scott Troutman Wise, Mozzie Bear, Dave Burke, Emma Hagel Kissinger, Valerie G, Emiliana, CB, Taylor Santana, Will Lewison, Angelique, Smelly Poo Poo Head, Beth Bauer, Cookie, Esperanza J, Jason Kyle OKC, Joshua Rumley, Danielle Peralta, Sawyer Reese Farr, Sahara, Girl That's Scary, Cassandra, Andrea Simmons, Ashley Higuera, William and Xxena Rush, Ryan Brom, Megan Ochoa, Laura Lassiter, Eileen O, Marissa E, Henry F, Megan M, Strangely Sarah, Christy Beck, Nancy and Andy, Amanda Lopez, Andy Terrell, Erica Morin, Tris Wynn, K.87, Mariah Jensen, Carrie A, Lonnie Lono, Powell, Kayla E, Maggie H, Murder Stina, Kristen Marcy, Ori 81 Boricua, Look Like That One Girl, Bog Boy, Felness 63, Alita Pui, Probably My Jugs, Kate Thackeray, Wade Pack, A Lizard, Bay J, Jay Rich, Topher Williams, Elena Metler, Valerie K, Christy Lee Kruger, Professor of Humanities, Laura McCarricker,
Naomi, Josh Smith, Autumn Green, Abby Kopp, Crystal 831, Skank Sinatra, Morgan Alexander, Tony Osteen, Julie Fredborg, Rihanna S., Daniel Taylor, Anna Kate, Heather Ortiz, Kim H., August, Jenny May, Old School Cool, Malik Caselli Armstrong, Scarly D., Toya Shea, Katie, Martin Shaw, Star, Tyler J., Cam Davies, Patrick Hoagland, Raven, Wesley Tart, Kristen Jackson, Jacob Nordberg, Samantha, Damian Grant, Half Price Horror, Clemmy, Nisine, Aaron Norman, Victoria Smith, Patricia A. Graham, Erasmo Pena, Danielle Wright, Chuck D., Tabitha Thomas, Connie Lingus, Richard Murray, Irene, Jordan McCarthy, Rosalind Harnius, Emily Rance, Amy, Lisa and Kathy, Mike H., Christian Sadler, Hannah, Sarah Jack, Casey L., Evelyn Knight, Paula Garcia, Nikki M., Megan and Alexandra Saldivar, Lisa Sykes, Kelsey Niemeyer Cook, Martina LaForce, JG, Morgan Novello, Ashley, Alex M., Brandon C., Gordon Sutherland, Georgia Renland, Ashley Poe, Diana Joe, Connor Gormley, Carrie Parker, Katie Face, Jane Pillsbury, Caitlin Asher, Mia Franz, Pooh Bear, Spicy Caldera, This is the Zodiac speaking, Jason the Ghost, Moldy Tic Tac, Tanner Rutgers, Gremlin Keeper 22, Sam Spade 666, Veronica, Kristen Rhodes, Daniel Laurent, Carmito, TVR, A Very Sweepy Baby, Nicholas Rage, A Lazy Boy, Nicola Williams, Sadison Miles, Stu Corbett, Brick O, Jaden Nicole, Lost Fan 08, George L. Robertson, Mercedes X Bleeple, Joel Miller Apologist, Cool Trainer Elijah, Mrs. Bloomingdale, Sierra Duncan, Renee Hart, Meg Like Sleep,
Final Boy, Alani, Elizabeth Thompson, Joey, Michelle Nicole, The Lipstick Demon, Less Than Zombie, Franklin Badge, Sean Reeves, The Kryptonian Orphan, Melissa B., Elena C., Jillian Munford, Evil Chris, Rex Term Raoul, Witchy Poop 19, Brian Avers, Danielle Milton, Instant Horror, Skin Deep, Ashay Guevara, Aaron Mr. Clean Bouchard, Henny Kravitz, Francisco Olmos, Paunchy Cat, Christina Perez, Buddy Boy Mac, Revamped, a Rewatch podcast, Sarah Coolidge, Show Livia, Film Fiend, Catherine Clark, Brandon Brown, Jessica Hernandez, Camry, Amy Shipley, Like the Donuts, Jack, Alyssa Muskites, Jennifer Hager, Nox Nocturnal, Byron Pittman, Sophia Mason, Most Unholy S'more, Pear Bear, Tom Blades, Bonnie Bozell, Crystal Reddy, Stu Mocker Fokker, Sean Weeks, Chardonnay Carlina, Samira Samuels, The Chief King, Nicholas Doba, Philip Thomas, Ashley Gravely, It's Austin Buttercrush, Kimberly Martinez, James Floyd, Stephanie, Hope Mowry, Abe the Camel, DGS, J. Taylor Art UK, Robert Murdoch, GQ, Danielle Carter, Jason Moore Please, Nosley, Emily Jeffries, Joey Monda, Madison B. Saw, Jasmine, Midnight Martini, Victor Rushing, Gavin Annette, Jennifer Monahan, Beetle Babley, Lucille Brooker, Tono and Tone, Mick K. Dingus, Brian Highsmith, Abigail Spitzer, Christina Juarez, Billy Williams, Robert Quadriguez, Wispy Rainbow, Bionic Shoulder Blade, Zachary Luke, Squid Fart, Amy Goodman, Spooky Gal 89, Alyssa Defoe, Trev Heron, Vicky Worgan, Brooke Ball, Jason, and Ryan Skelton. Thank you all so much.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank each and every one of you. We appreciate you so much because you keep this show alive.
Yeah.
Aw, they really do.
Yeah.
We're defying the title of the film.
Yeah.
Until next time.